for real events at least twice before, once for a fire and once for a tsunami. The person responsible for sending the false ballistic missile alert refused to talk to the FCC, but the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency provided information last week from a written statement made by the individual shortly after the incident. Hawaii's alert origination software did not distinguish between the testing environment and the live alert production environment. The FCC statement was critical of the Hawaii EMA's handling of the correction and said sending new information on social media rather than via the same alerting system it used to send the false alert was not the best practice. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io. Reuters reports Texas Governor Greg Abbott asked the state's top police agency on Tuesday to start an investigation into Caroli Ranch, a training facility used by USA Gymnastics where young female athletes said they were sexually molested by the team's doctor. In a letter calling for an investigation by the Texas Rangers into the facility in Huntsville, Texas, about 70 miles north of Houston, Abbott said the public statements made by athletes who previously trained at the ranch are gut-wrenching. The facility had been used for regular training camps, but USA Gymnastics said earlier this month it had canceled training sessions and was exploring alternative sites until a permanent location can be found. The complex was opened by celebrated gymnastics coaches Bella and Martha Caroli in the mid-1980s and played a vital role in making the U.S. women's team a dominant force in global competitions. Last week, disgraced longtime USA Gymnastics team doctor Larry Nassar was sentenced to up to 175 years in prison for abusing young female gymnasts who were entrusted in his care. At his sentencing hearing in Michigan, about 160 of his victims gave harrowing accounts of the abuse they suffered at the hands of Nassar, who served as the program's physician through 4 Olympic Games. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
The NFL announces a new zero-tolerance policy on videotape domestic violence. A puzzled nation can remember the name Ferguson, but is not sure from where. And a man wearing an M&M jacket is apparently made in God's image. This is the Onion Week in Review. Tech giant Apple unveiled a brief, fleeting moment of excitement to the general public. The short-lived, ephemeral sense of wonder was released in front of an exclusive group of reporters and industry insiders at Apple's Silicon Valley headquarters.
Apple really made us wait, but this rapidly diminishing glimmer of pleasure was totally worth it. It was 100% better than any other temporary joys I've ever experienced.
And in this week's local news, an uneasy détente forms between a man sitting on a patio and a bee. In other news, a poll finds 80% of Americans would get in a vehicle with a stranger for a chance at a new life. Bank of America introduces a new $50 underdraft fee, and the nation's huggers announce plans for you to get over here.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. Dial toll-free to join us on the radio here. Take control of the airwaves at 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Or you can join us on Skype at Skype username LRN.FM or the Discord, where we've got the on-air call-in line there at discord.lrn.fm. Joining you tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
And Mike.
And so, did I hear you guys on Call to Freedom? Because Mike is now doing a double duty Wednesdays, where he is a co-host on the Call to Freedom, which is a show that you can hear on LRN.FM, which is our Liberty Radio network. Were you guys talking about internet addiction today?
Yeah, well, yeah. Social media addiction is apparently a new call for regulation of social media.
We were just actually talking about that last night on Free Talk Live, and I think it's an interesting discussion. And we kind of last night touched on the gaming addiction aspect as well, of just sort of not just social media, but internet addiction, and to the point where it's harming you. And I think that somebody in our chat room asked a question of, well, where does a habit become an addiction, basically? And I think it's when it becomes harmful to you to continue your habit.
Yeah.
So if you've got it under control, then that's one thing. If you can still go to your job, you can still spend time with your significant other, you can still do these things. But if you start losing jobs, if you're losing significant others, if you're losing your health, then it's gone too far. And sure enough, in the news today, out of China, another man, not dead this time, because we touched on the old story of people dying in the internet cafes because they played games for too long in China. This man is just simply paralyzed from the waist down after a 20-hour marathon at an internet cafe playing video games. Paramedics carried the gaming fan to the hospital on a stretcher as he begged his friends to keep on playing his unfinished game for him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, if this was something that they called the Olympics, they'd say this was a heroic
Indeed.
endeavor.
They would. That was the first thing I thought is that, look at the dedication.
This is the
guy
agony of defeat.
Well,
personified.
It's only defeat because his lame-ass friends wouldn't take over.
And we do have now, of course, the phenomenon of the e-sports, as they call it, which is where people are really playing games in competitive leagues.
And really paid
for money.
Real plenty of money to do it.
With sponsorships and everything. But I don't think that's what this guy was doing. He was just playing video games in an internet cafe. The man, who remains unidentified, allegedly started playing the game, which I don't think they identify that either, from the evening of January.
I'm sure World of Warcraft doesn't need that kind of bad press.
January 27th until his friends called for an ambulance in the afternoon of January 28th. According to Chinese news site QQ.com, the man was trying to go to the toilet when he realized he couldn't move the lower part of his body at an internet cafe in Zhejiang province. One of his friends who was at the scene was quoted as saying, quote, "It seems he had lost sensation completely and couldn't move at all. We had to call for an ambulance," unquote. It remains clear what game the man had been, or unclear rather, what game the man had been playing. A video shows a man's friend and paramedics working together to move the man from a chair to a stretcher. He is reportedly in a hospital under observation. They say video game addiction has become a prominent societal issue among the young people in China, with an increasing number of young people choosing to ignore their studies, social lives, and family to surf the web or play online games.
Well, if you hate your job and you hate your schoolwork, and your family isn't much to speak of, some of these things may be improving your life.
No doubt about it. Many parents use the so-called digital detox rehab camps as a last resort to curbing their children's fixation on the digital world. And really what you said there, Mike, isn't any different from a drug addict, right? Like, a lot of people use mind-altering substances to escape the reality that they don't much care for. They don't have or at least they don't believe they have a very bright future in whatever path they're on in life, and so they self-medicate with addictive substances because it, for a moment, may remove them from their, or at least make them feel as though they're removed.
And escapism is very common in gaming, and particularly in the virtual world type projects that I've been involved in.
Right.
There's many, many, many people who are on welfare, unemployed, disabled, so on and so forth. Some who are in their situation because of a disability, but others who are just in that life because of either poor choices or poor circumstances, and they find escape in this because in a virtual world
you can be anybody.
You can be anybody. You can be a rock star. You can be a superhero. You can have a huge virtual mansion, and you can have 20 cars and speedboats and all the stuff that you have virtually no chance of having in real life unless you actually got off your butt and went out and actually made something of yourself.
Well, you've made yourself to level 100. Congratulations. So
you've earned those unlocks.
According to the story here, one of the most popular games in China is called King of Glory. King of Glory is a hugely popular multiplayer video game billed as the Internet Heroine by Chinese media. Developed by publisher Tencent, one of China's largest internet service providers in 2015, King of Glory is said to have attracted some 50 million people to play at the same time. Earlier this week, Chinese media reported about a critically ill boy who had unwittingly spent his whole life savings funds on playing this game. The 10-year-old boy, nicknamed Tao Tao, blew 150,000 yuan in his mother's account without realizing the money was all she had to save his life. Last October, a 21-year-old woman in China became blind in one eye after playing video games on her mobile phone nonstop for a day. Now, I don't know if that actually causes blindness.
Yeah, I can't.
Maybe it was just a coincidence.
Is it just that there's a billion people in China and one of them's bound to lose sight in one eye somewhere along the line?
How's the phone going to hurt one eye but not the other?
Yeah, I don't know. Unless she kept one eye open and the other one closed or something. I'm going to call that one into question. But there's no doubt here that video game and internet addiction it's a serious problem. But then again, it comes back to the larger conversation about addiction and people's lives in general and people being unhappy with their life and finding alternatives to it. Is an internet or video game addiction a better, healthier addiction than a crack addiction or a heroin addiction?
You're dealing with,
Probably.
what is an addiction. I mean, by all accounts, you're addicted to breathing oxygen. You're addicted to drinking water because without it, you're going to die.
I don't think you can use the term addiction, though.
Suffocating or thirsting to death you could define to be a form of withdrawal from those substances.
That's a stretch,
well,
though.
That's the idea of dependency. You've become biologically dependent upon a substance, whether it's something that people may consider to be nutritious or unnecessary.
I don't think you can apply water and breathing to the addictive charts because you can't choose that, basically. I mean, you have to do those things in order to live.
Many people are genetically predisposed to addiction as well.
I think that may be the case. I don't know. I mean, I'm certainly no scientist, but I've heard those claims. It would
so
seem to
we
me
should make sure that we can never create a product or service that's actually pleasant to use. Otherwise, the addictive personality peoples might get addicted to it and lose sight.
No, I'm not saying that at all.
We need a law. Right.
I would never say anything of that sort. We need to have.
I don't know that I believe any of these stories after that last one.
Humans seek pleasure. We need to have things that cause it. I mean, that's never going to go away.
Here's what we need. If you play video games and you're sitting down, you need to stand up and move your legs a little bit every hour.
I was talking with Jonathan Dunker, who's one of the movers here to New Hampshire, Free Talk Live listener and amplifier today. We had breakfast, and he was showing me his Apple Watch and just kind of showing off some of the features that it has. And it actually has that feature. If it detects you staying still, like it can know whether you're sleeping kind of staying still or if you're just sitting kind of staying still. And if it detects you staying still in a sitting kind of position for too long, it will actually say, "Hey, buddy, you need to get up." I don't know if it uses those words, but
or a mother-in-law watch.
So that exists. That technology is here. The toll-free number is 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. It was pretty cool, man. It showed you like a clock where it kind of different colors identified what you were doing at that time of day. And it can tell whether you're asleep or not. It knows that much about you. All right, so we got more on the way here. You can take control of the airwaves, bring up whatever you want. Smuggling guns into Canada. We'll talk about it.
She's such a beautiful little puppy. I mean, we walk around the block, and neighbors always say, her hair is so beautiful.
Healthy and shiny and glossy. DINOVITE.com.
Fatty acids, omega-3s, and omega-6s are great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
I would really recommend people starting their puppies on Dynavite before they get into what I would call the misery index. Bad skin, bad ears, bad breath.
Because if they're getting all their vitamins, micronutrients, microbials from the beginning, then you're not going to run into the problems associated with the allergies,
grass, pollen, dust, dirt, fleas, ticks, you name it,
and the itching and shedding down the road.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
Dynavite for life.
This is Ed Lukasevic.
And Cindy Lukasevic.
Inviting you and your pets to Dynavite.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. 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 I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Of course, you can bring up whatever you want. Our toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And we've got Skype as well. So Skype on in here at Skype username LRN.FM. And you can join us on our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. Dash is digital cash. It's a digital money platform that is designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast. It can be private and easy. Fees are low, transactions are quick, and can even be confirmed instantly. You can pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime for just pennies on the dollar. And Dash is decentralized. It's run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Anyone can invest in Dash and earn rewards for helping run the Dash network. So join Dash and help create a better financial system for everyone. You can take back control over your financial future today. Find out more at Dash.org. There's a lot of momentum behind Dash right now. Go to Dash.org and you'll find out why. As we continue here, Ian, Mike, and Mark in the studio tonight, whether you want to comment on internet addiction, where a man in China has been taken to the hospital after a marathon session of over 20 hours of video gaming that ended up with him being paralyzed from the waist down. He couldn't get up when he had to go to the bathroom, and they called the hospital.
Was this a permanent paralysis or just one of these kind of sleepy leg sort of?
It's not clear. The story is too fresh for there to be a follow-up, and there may never be a follow-up of this story.
I remember plenty of times as a kid where I've been sitting cross-legged playing.
Sit on your feet and cut off your circulation. Yeah, and then you get the the tingles. What's it called when
falling asleep?
Yeah, your foot falls asleep. Man, that's the worst. Let's go to Michael. He's on the line.
It's not
on
the worst.
Skype. Michael, you're on Free Talk Live.
Oh, hello, guys.
Hey there.
I want to bring up a local bill that was part of the discussion on the internet. It's probably a question for Mike, most of you, but just want to hear your opinions.
Okay.
Bill 1485, and I'll just explain briefly what it is. It's a bill that allows the landlords to increase the amount of the security deposit from today's 1 month rent to 2.
Oh.
To me, it seems like a bill that's a pro-freedom bill. It basically gives the landlords an option for a larger security deposit. Yeah, so
this has been an interesting debate going on
Yes.
some of the Facebook groups over this bill in the NHLA, the New Hampshire Liberty Alliance bill review. Over this bill, basically the law here in New Hampshire is that landlords can only charge 1 month's rent and 1 month's security
Right,
deposit.
you can't charge last. Like in where I come
Right.
from, you could charge first month, last month, and security. But here you cannot do that, as I understand it.
Well, I think the reason that original law came about was because they would charge 2 months security deposit, and there were cases of landlords would basically, claim the entire 2 months, and with all kinds of
Probably because the tenants
damages.
were scum.
Could be, definitely.
Not to say there aren't scum landlords too; they certainly are.
So this has been sort of a debate going on online as to the merits of this bill, and theoretically, philosophically, people should be able to engage in whatever sort of contractual agreements they want to.
They should strike all of the real estate laws from the books.
Absolutely. And one of the issues you're dealing with in this is that you've got essentially a scarce market that's enforced and protected by regulation anyways. And in terms of the supply of affordable housing, of housing in general, through zoning laws, through building codes, and so on and so forth, where landlords have a protected market where they can, have a scarce supply, and so then you have to, ask, should they be free to exploit that scarcity that they have protected by regulations in order to demand larger deposits from people, particularly people who may be least able to save that amount of money with low-income jobs.
Well, of course, it would only be an option for them. So if the landlord wanted to only charge 1 month security, then that would be their
who's
freedom.
to say that I could say I could only if I wanted to, if I was a racist individual, I would say I'm going to demand 2 months from people who are black trying to rent from me, but only 1 month from white people trying to rent from me.
That might fall afoul of the anti-discrimination laws, but ultimately, as libertarians, we generally support people's right to discriminate, even though we may not support them discriminating in that case.
Absolutely.
People should have the freedom to make that choice. And if it were to come out, then that landlord would they wouldn't really be able to explain that, right? Because the one way to find that would be to send in a test subject, right? Send in a black person, send in a white person, see if they get the same proposal as far as the amount, and then reveal that publicly, like, okay, this landlord's a racist. I wouldn't want to rent from somebody like that.
Yep. But the fact is that the real estate supply is a regulation protected scarcity. Well,
real estate's scarce anyway, whether it's regulated or not.
Yeah, but it's all because of zoning and building regs and these sort of things that
it definitely increases the
scarcity. Increases the cost, it increases the scarcity, so it allows for building for landlords to enable to enforce that scarcity to exploit people who may not be able to pay those fees. So, I'm not a fan of regulation in general, but when you have your market already protected by regulation anyways, then you're dealing with a situation where the person trying to utilize this law is already got an advantage in the market due to regulation in the first place. So a law that's trying to balance things out and trying to eradicate
who has the advantage?
The landlord has the advantage in terms of the scarcity of housing supply.
Yeah, but there's a lot of laws that actually protect tenants, and they give them ridiculous rights.
And it's very difficult to evict squatters and so on and so forth. So there's all kinds of. It's a huge snarl of all
It's
kinds
awful.
of regulations. So, trying to just point to just one and say you have to be principled on this, but we're not going to talk about all these other regulations that are messing everything else up is a bit unfair.
Michael, what do you think? You said you thought it was a good idea. I think it is.
I think so. Today we have this vote going up for, bill going up for a vote, so I would support it, and I'm hoping Mike would support it as well.
I actually do support it. I just wanted to, in the debate that was on Facebook, is to make some counterpoints so people could see that there's multiple sides to the issue for different
You were just
perspectives. Yeah, well, that too, but you know me.
All right, Michael, anything else you want to share tonight?
There's a lot of government laws and restrictions and prohibitions, but we can undo them one at a time. So this is a little one that takes us closer.
Yeah, but
to
they make
freedom.
more, though. That's the problem. I mean, if you undo one, the problem is there's other statists out there who are going to pass some more. So, I mean, I think that we're seeing some good progress here in New Hampshire where we have some liberty-friendly state reps, some of whom have not been infected very heavily by the power that they've been given, although at least one of them has absolutely, and it's pretty sad. But the more people we can get up here as part of the New Hampshire Freedom Migration, the more successful we'll be at rolling back more of these bad laws. And hopefully New Hampshire will be keeping its top spot. I understand the Freedom in the 50 States is working on a new version of that. It's been a couple years since the last one came out, so we're keeping our fingers crossed there. Thanks, Michael, for the call tonight. There's more on the way here. Our toll-free number, 855-450-FREE. Like Freedom, it's Free Talk Live.
The answer to being in control of your own healthcare is freedom from insurance. Become part of a group of self-pay patients that come together to share in each other's medical expenses. Individual share amounts begin at $107 a month and $347 for families. Choose from 3 health-sharing programs. Holistic treatments may be eligible for sharing. See guidelines. Discount programs available for dental, vision, and pharmacy. Go to libertyoncall.org. That's libertyoncall.org.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com. Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless free market non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America. as well as sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It is Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want. Our toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype as well, so feel free to Skype on in here. Skype username is LRN.FM. Also, want to make sure that you know about Bitcoin.com. That's where you can go to get the basics about what is Bitcoin. You're new. It's okay. It's okay. You got to learn what cryptocurrency is all about, where it came from. Get the basics over at Bitcoin.com. That's where you go to do that. But it's also where people go who are old school, people who've been around for a while. They're familiar with Bitcoin. They know what it's all about, but they want to get the latest news headlines because they've got them over at news.bitcoin.com. You want to get involved in Bitcoin mining? It's a lot easier than you think when you pay other people to do it for you over at pool.bitcoin.com. You don't have to worry about setting up servers, continued administration, parts breaking down, none of that stuff. You just put in an investment in either Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash. I think they're still accepting Bitcoin Core and Bitcoin Cash. Anyway, bitcoin.com. Go to pool.bitcoin.com if you want to get into their mining pools. Although I understood that they recently had to announce and offer refunds for folks because the Chinese government came in and cracked down on the Bitcoin miners there and said, you guys have to leave. And so either shut down or leave. And apparently they moved some of their operations. I had heard that I had thought they were in China, but Mark, I felt like you told me they were in the U.S., but maybe they had some mining pools out in China because I heard they had to shut them down. But you can still get involved in their mining pool over at pool.bitcoin.com. We've been talking about internet addiction, kind of continuing last night's topic because, well, apparently somebody went to the hospital in China because they were paralyzed from the waist down after having sat down for an over 20-hour-long marathon gaming session in an internet cafe. And it's interesting that this happens a lot in the internet cafes in China. I don't know if that's because they don't have
mining
internet.
that World of Warcraft gold, you know?
Well, actually, it's not clear what game he was playing in that case, but they, I guess I'm curious, like, are most Chinese gamers, do they have to go to internet cafes to play their games because they don't have their own home computer, or they don't have a home internet connection? Because almost every time somebody gets sick or ill or paralyzed or dead because of gaming, it's always in an internet cafe if the story's coming from China.
Yeah.
So if you've been to China and you know a thing or two about this, you're welcome to call in. Also, we ended up talking about landlord-tenant law, so you're welcome to call in about anything. Let's go to Thomas. He's in Bethlehem. Which Bethlehem, I don't know. But Thomas, where are you calling from tonight?
Bethlehem, New Hampshire.
All right. Welcome. You're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, I got a question for you guys regarding taxation. There's a new idea that sounds like it might be gaining some traction about doing away with property taxes in New Hampshire.
Really?
And invoking a sales tax, a standardized sales tax across the board.
I say no.
And having the municipalities get their funding from that.
Yeah, I'm against all forms of taxation, so there would be no way I would support the introduction of a sales tax, even if it did get rid of the absolutely ridiculous property taxes that they have here in New Hampshire. You would hurt the New Hampshire economy as far as the sales that we have, people coming in from Vermont and Massachusetts to buy things here in New Hampshire. That would basically go away.
Okay, why is it that you're so against the taxation? Because it seems like this would be the better of the two evils.
Why would you say that?
Well, because you guys seem to preach that taxation is theft.
It
That's
sure
what
is.
I hear a
Sure.
lot of.
Yeah.
And basically, a forced tax is theft.
All
But
taxes
as a
are
sales
forced.
tax being a luxury tax, you're not really forced into paying it. There's
You're
other
forced
ways
to
of
collect
buying
it.
your things.
If you're a business owner, you will be
Absolutely.
forced to collect that tax. There will be men with guns who show up at your business if you don't collect it.
And
That's true. That's true. Do you plan on having a business where you sell items?
I don't know, but I still am against the use of aggressive force, and so therefore I would stand up for the business owners and say they
Okay.
should not have guns
Well,
pointed at
here's
them
the thing.
either.
And really, the legal basis for the property tax.
You there?
Yeah, we're right here.
The legal basis for the property tax is based on the historical fact that you don't actually own your property. Particularly in the U.S. states, the state is the sovereign, and they have what's called allodial title to all the land in the state territory under sovereignty law. Like in Europe, where you had monarchs, the monarch held sovereign allode over their domain. And so with the Treaty of Paris, after the Revolution, the King of England granted sovereign allode to the states rather than to the people. So when you have a deed to your home, your deed is what's called a fee simple deed. That's a feudal deed where you owe fealty to the state. And so the fee that's simple is your annual rent to the sovereign, which is property tax.
So if we could undo
Actually,
that,
property taxes weren't even collected for the most part until World War II.
Wrong. Absolutely wrong.
That's my research.
I'd
They
love to
done
hear
to
more
help
about
pay
it.
for the war, and it started out very low, and then they just started increasing, and it was supposed to stop after the war, but it never did. I mean, that's just
Property
my
taxes
research.
began before the Constitution. It was under the Articles of Confederation. Many of the states collected property taxes, and actually the amount of money that each state owed to the federal government under the Articles of Confederation was based on their land area.
So
okay, and I believe that the property taxes were canceled or terminated after after our independence. That was, one of the things. Of course, we didn't like taxation.
No,
And
the
then it
taxation
came
that
back
was
during World War.
the taxation that we revolted over was over things like the stamp tax, which was a stamp on anything that was printed or published, so that was taxing free speech.
They didn't like being taxed by the king, but they wanted to have their own taxes.
Yeah,
and they could collect from you.
Which was an interesting refrain by Tories during the Revolutionary War. They said it's better to have one tyrant 3,000 miles away than 3,000 tyrants 1 mile away.
Strong argument.
It's a good argument.
Yeah. And I agree with you about the whole not owning your home. That's true. I mean, you don't, because if you don't pay the taxes, they take it from you. And, if nobody can take something from you that you truly own, that's my whole motto. So, I agree with you on that. But here's the thing. If we could get rid of the property taxes in New Hampshire, that would help out the elderly. That would help out the veterans. I've never heard anybody complain
and
about
what would they
not
replace it
having to
with?
pay property tax.
Well,
all they would do
is the sales tax.
Sales tax, and you're going to destroy
Probably
the
10% sales tax.
You're going
Right.
to wreck the New Hampshire economy because so much of the economy is based on tourism and people coming into the state to shop
from Vermont.
Yeah,
from
I mean,
Vermont, from New Hampshire, from Massachusetts, rather.
Do you think that a 6% sales tax is going to destroy tourism here?
Here's what I would do for you. Here's my negotiation.
I would have to,
Hold on.
I
Let
would
me
have to beg
negotiate
to
this.
differ with you.
Just a second. Before everybody's levying taxes all over the place. Because remember, guys, you're levying property taxes at this point by saying no to sales tax. You're taking the positive role of saying, yep, property taxes.
No, that's not what I said. I said I'm against all taxes.
I'm against all taxes, too. But at this point, we live in a world with taxes. So if you're asking me my opinion on this, if you're going to give me a allodial title to my land and any land that I buy in the future in exchange for a tax rate that is legislated at half the sales tax rate of Massachusetts, then I'll take it. As long as it's half the rate, I'll do it. Now,
Who's
here's the
proposed
reason.
that? What's the mass sales tax?
I don't know, and I don't care because it's still
It ain't
half.
12%.
And then the next year they'll legislate it to be 3/4.
He's not saying it's going to be half.
already legislate it, right?
You're making that up. He's not saying it's going to be half.
No, I'm negotiating.
I see.
Okay, here's the reason. So in Sarasota, Florida, when I had a house there in Sarasota, Florida, I paid $1,500 a year in property taxes. Here on a house that's smaller, although it's on more land, I pay $3,300.
I pay
per
4
year.
times as much as what I paid
And the
in
reason
Florida.
for that here in New Hampshire is because we have an interesting law called a current use tax abatement, so that if you have land that has trees on it or it's unused farmland, you can put it in what's called current use, and you get a much lower tax rate.
I've got some of my land
order
in current use too.
Agree to not develop it and let the public
The fact
use it.
is that New Hampshire doesn't have tourists coming in and paying for things like they do in Florida.
They've got you
it's
arguing-
the sales tax that's got that makes it so much lower.
Yeah, you guys are arguing, or everybody's arguing over the wrong thing. What we need to be talking about is cutting the government so you don't need to have
Absolutely.
taxes.
Sure.
Hey, thank you, Thomas, for the call tonight. I appreciate it. There's more on the way here, because otherwise you're just rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. More coming up.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Dynavite for life.
Pick up 2 tubes of Doggo Suds.
Get the 3rd tube free.
Peppermint, tea tree, lavender, Doggo Sud shampoo.
Made with all-natural coconut, jojoba, aloe. Great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
But no itchy, harsh chemicals.
Lather up, rinse away.
Try Doggo Suds. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
Warning. If you're drowning in debt you can't afford, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to pay it all back, because you don't. What the credit card companies don't want you to know is that there's actually a way to get debt-free without paying off your entire debt or going bankrupt. If you have $5,000 or more in credit card debt, you now have the right to let us settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. For free information, call Credit Associates now. 1-800-959-5759. We'll even show you how much money you could save. If you can't afford to pay off all your debt, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to. Call Credit Associates now for free information on how to get debt-free faster than you ever thought possible without debt consolidation or bankruptcy. We depend on your success and offer a guarantee, so there's no risk. For free information, call now. 1-800-959-5759. That's 1-800-959-5759. 1-800-959-5759.
Today's most popular video games take place in dangerous post-apocalyptic landscapes. But are these games doing enough to prepare our kids for the actual post-apocalyptic future we will all soon face?
I think these games are quite effective at teaching our kids skills like finding shotgun ammo and leading elite squads of super soldiers.
But these aren't the
Good work.
advanced skills that they're going to need. They're
That
going
is
to need the
advanced.
more practical skills like
You're
how to
not
find
thinking big
drinking
enough.
water by collecting the morning dew in human
Yes,
skulls.
or how to deal with depression when the sun is blocked out for 500 years by a cloud of radioactive dust.
Absolutely. Now, that's the type of knowledge these kids are going to need when their world has been turned into a brutal
But
hellscape.
these kids said that they know how to find items to barter at weapon shops and how to use medicine packs to heal zombie bites.
The games make it all seem deceptively simple. I mean, in the future, a kid's not going to be able to kill a 6-foot-long irradiated beetle just by pressing a few buttons, and he's going to have to get down there with an axe and hack and hack and hack.
This is the Onion News Network.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever you want here. The toll-free number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Coming up here tonight, we're going to have a really interesting story about a creative way that one man was smuggling guns into Canada. And it relates to a little town in northern Vermont known as Derby Line. Well,
that's a lovely town.
Yeah, we'll tell you about it coming up here. And with you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
And Mike.
Hey, don't forget, you can join us online over at freetalklive.com. There are a lot of features on the site. And one of our newest online features is the Discord, which you can join over at discord.lrn.fm. There are listeners in our Discord chat room right now, and they're talking about stuff. They're posting memes. Mark, you finally made it into the Discord, so congratulations to you on that. You can go to discord.lrn.fm. Get interactive with other Free Talk Live listeners during, before, after the show, pretty much sometimes around the clock. It just depends on when people are up and in there. Discord.lrn.fm. And it's our newest way for you to call into the show via the Discord on-air call-in line room, because Discord's a voice chat and a text chat app. So you can do either, or you can do both, and it is, yet, as I say, another way to get on the air with us here. So check it out. It's free over at discord.lrn.fm. You can use their web version of the app, which is what I think you've been using, Mark, but others have downloaded the app. They actually have a downloadable version for Linux, Mac, Windows, Android, iOS.
I had a bad experience with that. Not interested.
With what?
The downloadable app. I had to put it on my other computer, and when I was in the so it immediately subscribed me to like 4 Dash rooms for the Dash, the currency that we'll be talking about here on the air, and I'm just getting notifications constantly. Not interested in all those notifications.
I don't understand how it would have immediately done that to you if you've never used it before.
Well, that's the way.
Because normally you have to be invited to join. Because on Discord, the Discords are not public, so you cannot go and see a list of Discords anywhere.
I was invited. That's why I downloaded it.
Oh, well, that's not the app's fault. You went and joined a bunch of Discords you didn't like.
I just don't want all those, I just don't want all those notifications.
That's user error, dude. That's because you don't know how to check your settings.
I am clear that I do not want to learn everything about the internet or about Discord or about all these rooms.
Yeah. And so it's easy. You just turn off the notifications.
Get with the times, man.
Life's been fine without it.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, going on here. Toll-free number tonight, if you want to join us, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. So, Mike, you actually had a story about Facebook apparently losing users. And this may tie into what was mentioned last night, where apparently, I don't know, Mark, if it was Mark that you said this, but they were actually attempting to whittle down their users. Do you remember that?
No, that wasn't me. That was whomever was on the air with us, Johnson.
Yeah, so that was the claim, was that Facebook actually wants to whittle down their user supply, and apparently that's happening.
There seems to be a purge of crypto users. Several of my crypto friends have just disappeared in the last day from Facebook.
Is it a purge, or did they say screw Facebook because they're refusing cryptocurrency advertising?
It's hard to tell. I'll have to check into it, but it may be a mixture of both.
Mm-hmm. Because they did announce, as we discussed last night, that they are not going to be accepting any ads from any cryptocurrency related advertiser, because they're worried about scams.
Well, that would be fun and great if Facebook actually applied those sort of standards to other advertisers. Like, whoever it was in China that sold me one of those floaty fish indoor drones that was never delivered last Christmas. So
you paid for something that never made it?
Oh, yes. I was able to track the package, to a warehouse in China where it still is to this day.
Wow. What is an indoor drone? Is it one that just can't handle a little bit of wind?
It's like this balloon of a fish with the little propellers and steers and so forth, and so you can guide it around the house. And so it's like a little drone balloon, and you can fly it around. And there's one that's a shark, and there's another that's a goldfish.
Is it filled with helium?
Yeah,
they're great in like stadiums. So if you can take it into an indoor stadium and fly it around. I saw one at the Tampa Bay Rays game, and it just, tootled
floats about.
And I'm sure that they've got one of their interns or whatever controlling it, but there it was.
So how long does that last for? Because most,
I don't know. I never got mine.
Right. Because, balloons go flat, right? Like, if you get a balloon, it's going to...
It's definitely Mylar.
Okay. Meaning it will go flat at some point.
I think everything goes flat.
Yeah.
It is.
I would assume that there's some valve that you can refill it.
I see. You get a helium tank. Okay. All right. So what's...
I don't think I'd trust Mike with a helium tank. He's...
Hey, man.
All right, so tell me more. What's going on with Facebook? They are losing users.
Yeah, apparently, and this is specific to U.S. and Canada.
This story's from Recode?
In Recode.net. For the first time ever, Facebook's daily active user base in the U.S. and Canada fell in the fourth quarter from 184 million users from 185 to 184 million users.
Fourth quarter.
Fourth quarter, which
so
is
I guess
a small
I don't
decline.
count because I quit on December 31st at midnight.
Yeah, and you know. You may wonder how many of those accounts were nuked sock puppets, or you know, or people who have been so fed up with Facebook censoring people for
nipples.
Yeah, for stupid reasons, and going to other social networks like MeWe or something like, or going to Discord. A lot of people are getting to Discord and to Telegram and that sort of thing.
Yep.
But you know, it's interesting to see this where some are saying, well, maybe it's the growth of Facebook has reached its limit in the U.S. and Canada. And
I hope so.
And so,
I mean, it can only get, a company can only get so large. You can only have such a portion
saturate,
of
but you know, 184 million is really still just.
That's what they lost. I'm sorry. Was that
was
the total amount they
it went down 1 million from 185 to 184 million.
All right.
So, but that's still, you know, that's like half of the population of U.S. and Canada, and seemingly they should be able to expand to maybe a little more than half.
Yeah,
but
sure.
You know, they're at the same time that they're whittling down users or losing users. It's apparently they're actually earning more revenue per user, which has gone up by 35%.
Well, I mean, if you can get rid of the crap, I mean, if you can get rid of the
trolls,
libertarians,
those nasty libertarians.
If you can get rid of the people that cause an unpleasant user experience, then presumably more people who are more valuable would want to spend time there.
That could be.
But I don't know. We don't know who they've gotten rid of.
Or just more valuable demographics to advertisers, since the users aren't really the customers, they're their product.
Mark, you had wanted to take credit for this, but unfortunately this is fourth quarter of 2017, so we don't get to take credit for the reduction. Although it is interesting.
We did talk about it last night, though.
We did.
It's a real it's a heck of a coincidence.
No doubt. Some people say there are no coincidences. But anyway.
It's only Free Talk Live.
What else? Anything else?
No, that's the whole story.
So, I mean, what do you think, Mike? You still use Facebook? You were
sure,
on there today.
I use it quite a lot. I enjoy either pitting people against each other, or trolling, or posting memes and putting
Only
up all kinds
ones.
of interesting stories to trigger conversations with people.
Are you a Facebook user across platforms? Do you use it on your laptop, on your smartphone?
Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do. And I actually use Facebook Messenger to keep in touch with a lot of people. That's probably most of my Facebook usage is really just
the
Messenger. Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons why I, had wanted to stay on Facebook, was because of the Messenger aspect of it. But you actually don't need to use Facebook to use the Messenger aspect. You can there's like Pigeon, which is a Windows or Linux or whatever multi-chat program, and somebody has managed to hack into a DLL file or something like that and make it so you can use Pigeon with Facebook.
Nice.
With Facebook Messenger. But whenever Facebook changes their system, the hacker has to go in and update his. So sometimes it just breaks. I don't really use that, but if I needed to, I could log into that if it's working at that time.
I don't like the Messenger because that means that, so I've got 3,500 Facebook friends.
They can all reach you.
I use it as a marketing tool, and then, everybody, anybody from anywhere can get a hold of me. It, feels like they can, that I'm obliged.
We're best buds. Come on, man.
I mean, I just blink. There's this thing on my phone, and I'm like, get back, send me an email. I just don't want it.
Yeah.
So
you don't need that immediacy with people you don't know.
I uninstalled it.
I uninstalled it years ago.
I just don't want the Messenger, because every time I go and look at the messages, and I get them on the regular the web browser, it's nothing I wanted then. I can't only take care of it when I'm sitting at my computer anyway. So
now,
no thanks.
this doesn't mean to the listener that you all need to start communicating with me. If you want to talk with Ian or Mark, there's other ways to communicate with them than to message me on Facebook.
There you go. Yeah, you can find me on the Discord at discord.lrn.fm. I'm there pretty much all day long. So you can bring up whatever's on your mind. Coming
Trading one habit for another.
The Haskell Free Library, which I'm actually getting a lot more done since I am not on Facebook. And when you're on Discord, it's not like Facebook. It's just an immediate chat program. It's not a competitor, I don't think, at all, because everything's just sort of in the moment. If you're not there, you don't want to scroll back through hours of
there's people you actually want to talk to
chat.
and not a lot of crap.
We got more coming up here. Smuggling guns. We'll talk about that coming up.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, January 31st, 2018. Silver is trading at $17.22 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,342 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $46, and the average price of Bitcoin is $10,282. Antiwar.com reports President Trump has signed an executive order that is intended to reverse President Obama's intentions to close the detention center at Guantanamo Bay. Details are still emerging, but a leaked cable suggests this plan was in the offing for a while. Trump has been clear time and again that he wants to keep Guantanamo Bay open and that he'd like to fill it with new detainees. The cable told diplomats to assure worried nations that there are yet no specific plans to add to detainees. Yet, the Pentagon is expected to have to spend in the neighborhood of $500 million trying to get construction plans in place to keep the facility viable, as it was expected to have been closed long ago. Officials have yet to comment on the matter, and it's unclear when they intend to make any public statements on the future of the facility. It clearly does not make much sense to keep the site open if new detainees aren't anticipated, but admitting as much is likely to be politically risky given the site's history of abuse. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency official who issued a false missile alert earlier this month has been fired, and 3 others were either suspended or resigned. Officials said the employee who issued the alert was fired on Friday. Another Hawaii EMA deputy resigned after January 13th, and a 3rd employee is suspended without pay, and Hawaii EMA Administrator Vern Miyagi resigned Tuesday morning. The false alert resulted from a miscommunication between state supervisors announcing a drill and the employee who issued the alert, according to the Federal Communications Commission. The employee who sent the false alert wasn't aware it was a drill, according to statements issued on Tuesday, which gives a breakdown of what the FCC believes went wrong. The report found the employee has been counseled for confusing drills for real events at least twice before, once for a fire and once for a tsunami. The person responsible for sending the false ballistic missile alert refused to talk to the FCC, but the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency provided information last week from a written statement made by the individual shortly after the incident. Hawaii's alert origination software did not distinguish between the testing environment and the live alert production environment. The FCC statement was critical of the Hawaii EMA's handling of the correction and said sending new information on social media rather than via the same alerting system it used to send the false alert was not the best practice. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io. Reuters reports Texas Governor Greg Abbott asked the state's top police agency on Tuesday to start an investigation into Caroli Ranch, a training facility used by USA Gymnastics where young female athletes said they were sexually molested by the team's doctor. In a letter calling for an investigation by the Texas Rangers into the facility in Huntsville, Texas, about 70 miles north of Houston, Abbott said the public statements made by athletes who previously trained at the ranch are gut-wrenching. The facility had been used for regular training camps, but USA Gymnastics said earlier this month it had canceled training sessions and was exploring alternative sites until a permanent location can be found. The complex was opened by celebrated gymnastics coaches Bella and Martha Caroli in the mid-1980s and played a vital role in making the U.S. women's team a dominant force in global competitions. Last week, disgraced longtime USA Gymnastics team doctor Larry Nassar was sentenced to up to 175 years in prison for abusing young female gymnasts who were entrusted in his care. At his sentencing hearing in Michigan, about 160 of his victims gave harrowing accounts of the abuse they suffered at the hands of Nassar, who served as the program's physician through 4 Olympic Games. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Despite being objectively awful people, newly engaged couple Ross Bird and Jessica Black want their upcoming wedding to really reflect their personalities.
We're pulling out all the stops to have the kind of wedding that just screams us.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a bluegrass band playing 80s pop songs. Because Ross loves bluegrass, but I love 80s music.
And then at the end of the ceremony, this is great, we're gonna pass out sparklers to all the guests.
Sources claim that a bunch of candles in mason jars and an Instagram photo booth will truly capture the essence of the insufferable pair.
We didn't want some big stuffy ceremony.
Yeah,
It should feel more like a fun dance party for our friends.
Because the night's about us, yes, but I mean, it's also, about the people who make us, us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And those people love us exactly for our uniqueness.
Sources hoped with every fiber of their being that these two would be divorced within a year.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, and you can take control of the airwaves by dialing in toll-free at 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype at Skype username LRN.FM. And we've got Discord. You can join the Discord on-air call-in line over at discord.lrn.fm. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
And Mike.
We're going to take you to the Haskell Free Library. Well, verbally at least. We're not actually in Derby Line, Vermont, but I have been to this particular location. And Mike, it sounded like you've actually been there.
I've been there too. It's interesting because it's right on the Vermont-Canada border.
That was the reason I went.
And part of the community is in Canada and parts in Vermont. And
part of the library is in Canada, and part of the library is in
and
Vermont.
that's common across town, where you'll have the national boundary going through buildings, and they actually will have the line on the floor so you can make sure that you're not becoming an illegal immigrant at moments.
Because it's no fun.
Particularly if you're wandering around a pub that's in two countries. I mean, you're just staggering along with a beer.
How
and you're
long
like,
has it been?
I'm in this, I'm
Hold
in
on.
this.
How long has it been since you've been to Derby Line, Vermont?
Oh, geez, since I was in my 20s, easily.
Yeah. Okay. And you're in your 40s?
I
early
just
40s?
turned 50.
50.
So.
Okay. It's been a while then, because the town is dead at this point. I went within the last couple of years. We took a group of folks up from the Porcupine Freedom Festival a couple years ago, and we did a Run for the Border event where 5 of us took a ride up there, and we
Kids sure know how to have fun.
It was fun. Man.
Well, you know, some of these towns you need to get in your order before 9 p.m. or the sidewalks will roll up in a lot of these small towns in northern New England.
It's just a dead town. I mean, It used to be. We actually talked to somebody on the streets there about the way things used to be before the Border Patrol got really intense with their enforcement there, and it used to be that people would just cross over, no problem, walk back and forth. They didn't have to go through any kind of checkpoint or whatever. And the other town on the other side is called Stansted in Quebec. So it's Stansted, Quebec, and then Derby Line, Vermont. And they're basically the same town, but there's the border running through it. And I don't know, a decade ago or whatever, after 9/11, basically, things got pretty intense as far as border security is concerned.
Did they put up a wall?
They didn't put up a wall, but they do have potted plants that are filled with concrete that are blocking the library road. So the road right on where the library is on a corner, there's a road that heads north up into Canada there, but you cannot drive on that road because of the concrete-filled potted plants that are now across that particular road.
Right, they blocked off the roads, and now you can only go through in certain locations.
And businesses are closed. The downtown in Derby Line, Stansted's apparently doing better than Derby Line, but Derby Line, because apparently the Border Patrol just aren't as nasty in Canada, but Derby Line, you've
Shocking.
got up and down the roads. If you stand on the main drag in Derby Line and you just wait for a little bit, it's not long before Border Patrol passes by, as well as state police. I mean, it's just the place is loaded with cops.
Please,
there's almost
may I have your papers, please?
Yeah, and there's almost no people. Houses are for sale. Businesses are closed. Now, to be fair, the day we ended up going actually turned out to be a Canadian holiday, and I forget which one it was, but they had some holiday that happened on a Tuesday in Canada.
Oh, that's a holiday.
So
Thanksgiving?
Tuesday's a holiday.
They don't have Thanksgiving in Canada.
Yes, they do. It's just not the same day.
You're an idiot.
Really?
Yes.
I'd heard they didn't have it.
They
you're
have
really an idiot.
Canadian Thanksgiving. It's not the same day.
Is it about like Indians and Pilgrims, or is it about something completely different?
It's about giving thanks, you rube. It's in October. Because harvest is a little earlier in Canada.
I see. Well, anyway, the town's dead. I mean, even the places that were downtown that could have been open looked like they were barren. There was like nothing that was open. There was a gas station. There was an Irving
it's like a
gas
DMZ.
station. Basically, I mean, it's just the Irving gas station exists so they can serve the people that need gas and a snack,
Which
and that's
is
pretty much
Border
all.
Patrol.
Yeah, and the Border Patrol, right? Because the Border Patrol station's literally across the street from the Irving gas station, and that's it.
I bet they're making a lot of money on donuts.
But the Haskell Free Library, according to globalnews.ca, which straddles the U.S.-Canadian border, is home to an array of novels, an opera house, and, for a brief time, international gun smuggling. The Heritage Building was built in 1904 and is the only library in the world to straddle a border. I didn't know that. I knew it was unusual, but I didn't realize it was the only one. Between the towns of Derby Line and Stansted, there's a black line on the library floor marking the divide. You enter the building through the U.S., but the circulation desk and most of the books are in Canada. The reading room is in both countries. The building's unique layout may be why it was an attractive location for a Montreal man to smuggle handguns into Canada, which, of course, as you may know, Canada is not a particularly gun-friendly place. As I understand it, you can have a rifle if you've got the right, permission slips,
Right.
but handguns a lot harder, if not
Much
prohibited.
harder,
So on Monday, the 40-year-old suspect here, Alexis Vlachos, pleaded guilty to smuggling 100 handguns from the U.S. into Canada and using the library as a drop-off point.
So did he have like one of those hollow books with the gun outline in it?
You see in the movies?
Yeah.
Good
What
question.
else could he possibly have?
Vermont prosecutors, they'll tell you here what he was doing, allegedly. Vermont prosecutors said between July of 2010 and April of 2011, Vlachos worked with 2 Americans who purchased dozens of handguns in Florida, then drove them to Vermont to smuggle them into Canada.
Why not buy
them in Vermont?
New Hampshire.
or New
Vermont.
Hampshire. Anyway, going on March 25th, 2011, the 2 Americans stashed a bag of around 20 guns in the washroom of the Haskell Library and left. Vlachos then walked into the building and retrieved the bag, according to court documents. He then sold the guns in Quebec, prosecutors said. But the drop-off caught the eye of an attentive librarian, and police started watching the smugglers from then on, according to court documents. Now, that's interesting that it caught the eye of a librarian, because having actually been...
Once again, a town is crawling with government agents, and...
It was a librarian.
It's just your average person
Well,
doing
how
their
do you
average
really
job.
know?
She's a
How do you
government
know?
agent.
So
Yeah,
much.
she's got to be a government agent.
She's not a federal government agent.
Probably not.
Who knows?
So,
that
what I
may
wanted
be a cover.
So what I wanted to say about this was that it was interesting that she was the one who picked up on this, because when you leave the Haskell Library, you are supposedly being watched. There are men with cameras monitoring camera feeds.
Well, we wouldn't want dangerous books to get smuggled from the Haskell Free Library into the U.S.
Well, I don't know what they're expecting is going to happen, but if they notice a guy walk in without a big duffel bag full of guns and then, walk out with a duffel bag full of whatever, that presumably would have raised some suspicions if the Border Patrol was actually watching the cameras that are monitoring the facility.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I'm big on reading, so I've carried around big bags of books a few times.
Well,
as have I.
I suspect all they would really need to do is want to search you. If they, noticed you doing something, they would just stop you, and you'd have to consent likely to a search because you were crossing the border. So the way
you do this,
make sure
Mike,
you have those guns properly checked and stamped out from the library librarian.
You find
Say,
the
I
most-
checked this gun out.
You find the most common style bag that somebody might carry,
Yep.
and you get 3 of them. And then, you and your Confederate walk into the library from opposite sides, opposite countries.
Yep.
You both go potty at some point. You wink
Exchange the
You got to
bags.
wink at each other.
Right.
And then you go to the bathroom, you exchange the bags, and then I walk out with the bag of underwear, and you take the guns to Quebec and
You
get
sound
rich.
like you're experienced at this sort of gig.
I
That's
have no
actually a
idea
great
what you're
idea.
talking about.
That's actually a really smart idea, Mark, and apparently they didn't think of that.
9 years in prison, people.
In this
Well,
case.
you only hear about the criminals that are stupid and get caught.
Yeah, that's a good point. And, they could have done it slowly, too. They could have just done 1 or 2 guns at a time. That way he didn't have to pack in a whole bag or whatever. Just you're making enough money on it. Just stay in a hotel overnight and come back and do it again the next day or something like that. But anyway, they got caught. And a couple of weeks later, one of the Americans bought 34 guns from a dealer in Florida, then drove them to a remote section of northeastern Vermont near Lake Wallace. Vlachos then hiked into the forest to meet the accomplice, handing over $18,000 in cash in exchange for the guns.
This is
Vlachos-
something I've always wondered: is if we're so scared about who's going to get across the border. So if I go to Canada, it's or at least at one point it was against the law. I don't know if that's the case now. I think it's been 10 years, and maybe I can go. I don't know.
You have to send them a request and pay them.
Is that legal advice?
That's the advice they gave me.
They told me 10 years. That's all they told me.
Oh, you both got.
And you gotta pay.
You're both persona non grata.
Yeah,
in
you have to
Canada?
wait 10 years and then pay to get the permission slip to get through.
I don't
And
consider that
felons have to
legal
pay
advice.
more. Felons have to pay more. I'm not an attorney, Mark. I'm just telling you what they told me, and they could be wrong. But you
the
can look
magistrate
into it.
just told me 10 years.
I did check it out, and they do have fees as well. So maybe they introduced the fees since you talked to the magistrate. But there are fees as well, and I think it's like a grand, $250 for misdemeanors.
Thinking about getting into cryptocurrency? It's time you looked into Dash. Dash is digital money that you can use to send instant and private payments anywhere for pennies. Dash offers a decentralized network where miners are rewarded for keeping it strong and safe. Dash has made a huge impact in the crypto world. Start your journey. Check out Dash.org for more information and get in now on the future of cryptocurrency. Dash.org.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. The Bitcoin.com wallet supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. Download the Bitcoin.com wallet for easy and secure access to your Bitcoin Core and your Bitcoin Cash. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
From the first letter of Captain Mark. History is full of flowery documents claiming to limit the power of the crown, but these poetic social contracts have been impotent to prevent the predation. Limited government is a lie they use to keep us submissive. The crown cannot be trusted to abide by its founding charters, nor its treaties, nor even its own rules. The essence of the crown is centralized violence, and I've had enough. That's why I raised my black banner. I am no revolutionary. My aim is not to reset the cycle of violence, but to break it. My aim is an evolved society, invisible to the crown. Not a new hierarchy, but decentralized networks with no central figure for the crown to target. If you want your servile life, keep it, but we will not submit to the crown's agenda. And when you are ready to stop being its beast of burden, ready for adventure and opportunity, join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can take control of the airwaves here toll free at 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype as well. The Skype username is LRN.FM, and you can join us online. Just head over to freetalklive.com. You can download all kinds of free stuff there, including archives that go back for more than a decade.
Whole Food Multi-Complete is much more than a multivitamin. We call it a multi, and the reason is because not only is it have vitamins and minerals, but it has enzymes and probiotics and antioxidants and immune support and bone and joint support and energy support. And they've been, quietly providing for 15 years what the big guys won't, the perfect blend of supplements in a single product. They've taken the expense and complexity out of following a complete supplement program. Just visit simplifymysupplements.com to learn more Enter coupon code FTL to receive 10% off of your order every time. For every order, they take Dash and Bitcoin. Satisfaction is guaranteed or your money back. It's simplifymysupplements.com. Coupon code FTL to receive 10% off.
All right, we can continue here with your calls and thoughts. We can talk more also about the gun smuggling operation that was broken up at the Derby Line, Vermont Library, where the border crosses through the middle of the library. There's actually a line, black tape line down the middle of the building. I had gone there a couple of years ago during the summertime with a group of libertarian activists to do a border cross with no identification, or with identification like, not no ID, but anything besides a passport. Basically, we were testing the waters to see, what could you get through with, because there's a lot of misinformation out there. The U.S. government wants you to believe that you have to have a passport, for instance, or a passport card in order to cross the border of Canada or Mexico, and that's just a straight up lie.
Did you get across?
I did not, because I have a misdemeanor conviction for obstructing government administration, and another misdemeanor conviction for false. Oh, God, what the heck's it called?
They can stop you for all misdemeanors, too?
People of low repute here with all these convicts in the room.
They can stop you for some misdemeanors. In the case
Just
of
a random series.
No, it's not
of
random. In this case, they don't want me there because I'm a troublemaker. I'm the kind of person who will not do what he's told, and so they don't want me
So
there.
did Canada say you weren't allowed to come there?
Yeah, I was sitting in a room with Canadian border guards for 90 minutes while they ran background checks on me until they finally decided.
They threw me in jail. Made it a magistrate kick me out.
Yeah, well, you're a felon, so maybe they took you a little bit more seriously. I was told after, and they were very, very nice. I just have to say, it was the most pleasant 90-minute long detention. That
Canadians are going to be polite even if you are a real SOB.
Yeah, they gave us recommendations as to where to go eat over in Stansted, because most of the people we were able to get through. I was the only one who was rejected from Canada. So we had people going in with just their driver's license. We had somebody else go in with their. Oh, God, I forget. You have to watch the video. There's a 24-minute documentary that I made about it. It's on YouTube. It's entitled Did the Border Kill the Small Town of Derby Line, Vermont? It's got over 55,000 views. It is the number 2 most viewed video on YouTube about Derby Line. So I'm very, very happy about that. But that actually will chronicle not only our attempt to cross the border, which we actually can't show you because the border guards in Canada demanded that we turn the cameras off as we approached, and further demanded that we never publish that video. So, and unfortunately, that video is lost now because the FBI raided the studios last year and took the computer that had that footage on it. So,
Ouch. The year before last.
Yeah, 2 years ago. You're right.
Haven't heard from him, by the way.
No.
Just in case you guys are keeping track.
No, we haven't. So it chronicles what it's like on the border, meaning you can see the potted plants with the concrete in them. You can see the cameras that are all over the place, the border guards driving past constantly.
So it's very eco-friendly to have all this plant matter around. So it's, at least we're keeping some florists.
There's definitely some growth there because nobody's cutting anything. It's basically a dying town. Now, the YouTube comments, of course, are always entertaining to read, and as many people hate this video as like the video.
No, you didn't follow the government people's orders.
Right. So you get to see all that. You get to see the Border Patrol confronting us before we even get to the border. We were up on a bridge that is it runs over I-91, which is a major passing point.
Yeah.
There's 2 passing points at Derby Line. There's the I-91, major one, and then if you actually go into downtown Derby Line and go north from there, there's a very small one. That's the one we ended up crossing at. And the idea was we were going to walk across the border. That way they couldn't search a car or anything like that. And so while we were on this bridge, just kind of getting footage of the big border checkpoints, one of the guards from down on the U.S. side, we could hear him yell from the, hundreds of feet away. He yells at us. Then they go and pile in a cruiser and, hightail it up towards where we were on the bridge and try to intimidate us, which absolutely failed on their part. So you get to watch that happen as well.
Get back to your stall, Rent-A-Cop.
Yeah. It was pretty entertaining stuff. So check that out when you get a chance. Let's go to your calls and thoughts. We can talk more about the gun smuggling operation that got busted there in Derby Line. But first,
I was thinking, where is a gun owner going to keep his magazines but in a library?
But we got Zach on the line calling from I don't know where. He's on Skype. Hello, Zach.
Hi, Zach in Minneapolis. How are you?
Hey, Zach. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Hey, so I just want to talk. I don't know if you guys talked about it. It was in the news a couple weeks ago. Did you talk about the homeowner with the cop doing the welfare check down in Georgia?
Doesn't ring
Does
a
that
bell.
ring any bells? Okay. So briefly, what happened?
Usually a lot of times these welfare checks don't turn out very well for the person they were checking on.
Yeah, it didn't turn out well for a couple folks.
Okay.
So the Reader's Digest of what happened. This guy's family called the county sheriff's office and asked them to do a welfare check on their son, and they were concerned about his mental well-being. It's what you see is dash cam footage
from the
and
police.
it's Troup County, Troup, down in Georgia. And what you see is the dash cam video from the police as he pulls up to a gate, and it looks like it's probably, it's rural. It's like you'd see on a farm, like a long kind of gate.
Yep.
So the cop pulls up, opens the gate, and you see him walk off. Well, then a few minutes later, you see come into frame the homeowner who wasn't there at the time. So he gets out. You see him walk in front of the police car.
Hold on, just to clarify, is the homeowner the person who called the police or the person who was being checked on?
Being checked on.
Okay.
So he gets some sort of instrument, and you hear him banging on the police car. The cop is, off in the distance.
I bet the cop didn't like that.
He's far away. Like, he's out of frame. He doesn't know what's going on. Then you see the homeowner, again, the guy who's being checked on, come into frame with a handgun and start shooting the police car.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's going to get some attention.
Yeah, and the cop is not in eyesight, but he's mic'd up still, so you hear him yelling, Sheriff Department, and he's probably, 100 yards away. This guy gets in his truck, drives past the gate, closes the gate, and goes off frame.
Okay.
And again, the cop is still mic'd up.
Never comes back.
Yeah. And I hear the music. There's still quite
I want to hear
a bit
the rest
to
of the
tell, so I can
story.
hold on.
Stand by. Zach is with us. He's in Minnesota and on Skype. You can join us as well. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Man, blasting away at a police car, apparently unprovoked. I mean, I understand not liking the police, but probably want to keep your opinion to yourself on that if you're all alone in the middle of the woods with one. It's Free Talk Live.
Anytime, any place, anywhere. Radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise at gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size for incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency. Get to GoBerkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com.
A congressman recently revealed that legislation totaling 2,900 pages and involving more than $1 trillion was available to members of Congress for less than 48 hours to study and consider. That's over 60 pages of legislation per hour. Do you think anyone read the entire bill? I'm Jim Babka with DownsizeDC.org. Consider a proposal buried in a 3,200-page, $388 billion bill, which would have empowered committee chairmen or their agents to examine Americans' tax returns. When this horrible provision came to light, no one claimed to know how it got into the bill. One congressman questioned said, "I didn't write it, I didn't approve it, I wasn't even consulted." If your attorney represented you this way, he might be disbarred. But this is how Congress represents you every day. That's why DownsizeDC.org has created the Read the Bills Act. You can force Congress to read their bills before they pass them at DownsizeDC.org.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit shiresociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at shiresociety.com. That's shiresociety.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up anything you want right here. The toll-free number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype. The Skype username is LRN.FM. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
And Mike.
We're going to go back to your calls and thoughts, but I do want you to know about Zencash. It is one of the newer kids on the block when it comes to cryptocurrencies, having started in 2017. But they've taken some of the best technology, like zero-knowledge anonymity. So if you want anonymous cryptocurrency, you want to look at Zencash. Also, decentralized autonomous organizations. They took that idea from the folks over at Dash, who have used that very successfully to govern their currency and do things like marketing. So that's, I think, a very exciting technology as well. And they're also creating a secure platform for money and messages, and hopefully at some point media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. You can go to Zencash.com to learn more about it. That's Zencash.com. It was founded by liberty-loving voluntarists who actually use the term voluntarism in their white paper. So check it out and learn more about it over at Zencash.com. As we continue here, Zach in Minnesota was telling us a story out of, where was it again?
It's Troup County, Georgia.
Georgia. All right.
Yeah.
And a cop is called in for a so-called welfare check, which I've heard so many stories of these welfare checks going very, very wrong for the people that were supposedly to be having their welfare checked. In this case, he drives out to a house that is kind of in the woods. You're seeing the dash cam. You were describing the dash cam footage to us. The cop walks somewhere away from his car. Is he walking onto the property past the fence? Is that where the cop has walked onto?
Yeah, he goes presumably towards where the house is off in the distance.
And then the person who owns the house comes onto the dash cam footage, presumably from what, the road, the other direction?
Yeah, yep.
And proceeds to begin firing a gun after hammering, or like hitting the car, then pulls a gun and starts firing it into the police cruiser. At that point, you said you could hear the officer begin to yell because he had a microphone that was hooked up to his dash cam, and that was where you kind of left the story off. So what happened?
Yeah, so then the homeowner, the guy who's supposed to be checked on, he drives past the gate, closes the gate behind him, and then drives down out of view. And then all we can hear is, again, the deputy's mic, and you can almost imagine the conversation, I guess you could call it, because because he has kind of a calmer tone when you can tell that he's seeing the guy. So he goes, "Hey, sheriff's department, whatever," and then you hear him start yelling, and then you hear more gunshots.
Oh gosh.
And the picture of the deputy, he can't be 20 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He's just a kid. And then you can hear him, start yelling and please don't shoot me. And then he runs back into view, and he's running back towards his squad car. And this other guy is chasing him through the yard.
Whoa.
He hurdles over the fence, trips and falls out of view. And then the guy, he leans back over the fence and shoots the cop twice.
Oh my gosh. This did not go the direction I thought it was going to.
Yeah. Now, they both lived. Apparently the cop had a couple injuries but was treated and released. I guess he's fine.
Jeez.
And of course, hell rained down on that house. They brought in every, cop in 50 miles, and there was a standoff, and I guess they arrested the guy.
Wow. He's amazing.
He definitely got protected and served.
Amazing he lived through that.
So I tell you that whole story because, as you kind of said, Ian, it's almost an M. Night Shyamalan twist at the end where it doesn't really go how this normally goes.
Yeah.
And the comments on the thread, because it was on a popular, kind of libertarian page, and the comments were very and somewhat predictably defending this homeowner. And I've been flying the minarchist flag for quite a while. And I try to, follow the NAP, even though it is
non-aggression principle is what NAP stands for. And a minarchist is somebody who believes in a small, limited government.
Right. And this is one of those cases where, we talk in theory about something like this happening. And this is kind of the first instance of this that I can really think of. And, everybody says, well, you come on my property, that's what happens. But, where does it break down? When the guy's running away, crying for his life, obviously any sort of threat is gone. And I wonder if it kind of exposes how, when we go to the extreme of where we say, basically my little piece of dirt is my sovereign land that I can do whatever I want on, are there things that are just inherently wrong?
Yeah, it doesn't include killing people. Just because you have a plot of land doesn't mean you get to commit murder.
Absolutely.
Right.
I mean, look, we're all critics of overbearing cops here on this show, no doubt about it.
The police were invited there, to be clear, by this guy's parents. Now, they don't have a right to the property, but from a social standpoint, people are going to presume that your parents can invite them onto your property, if that makes sense. I mean, unless there's some kind of known falling out, then that's just the way people are going to presume.
Well, plus, because I don't believe that you can just blast somebody to death because they've set foot on your property even without permission. I think that most people would agree that killing somebody or shooting somebody over a simple trespass is completely uncalled for. Now, I know there are some libertarians who believe that you have the right to kill somebody if they steal a paperclip from you, but I don't think most sane people would agree with that particular that idea.
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of shows, and it's a good kind of case study on how would the marketplace handle, for instance, a welfare check, because the parents asked the cops to go check on their son because they thought he was mentally ill. I'll just leave it there.
I'm going to go ahead and say that that's true.
Yeah, there's good evidence for that. But maybe sending a man with a gun on his hip to check on a mentally ill person is not the best way to check welfare. Maybe there are some more compassionate methods that the marketplace could come up with instead of that.
That may be, but the fact that he's a mentally ill person who's armed may mandate that at least somebody who shows up have the ability to defend.
I didn't say they shouldn't have the ability, but to openly have a gun in front of a man who's insane may not be, it could be a little bit agitating. Sure. Perhaps you'd want to have the gun concealed in the small of your back or something like that where you could easily access it, but it may not be as, let's say, triggering to the person in that particular situation.
Well, anyway,
Literally.
so yeah, I just wanted to get everybody's thoughts on that. So it was a good conversation.
Thanks, Zach, for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. Yeah, I was surprised there because normally when you hear about these welfare checks, it's the person who is checked upon that ends up dead at the hands of the police.
I would imagine the
Or
vast
at least
majority
their
of
dog.
Yeah, the vast
That too.
majority of welfare checks result in pretty much nothing, or good things. And the ones that hit the news, you're more likely to hear about the dead dog, or worse yet, a dead person. But this one goes to show that it's a dangerous job.
Let's go to Ricky in Pennsylvania, in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Hello, Ricky.
Thank you there, Brother Ian. Thank you there, Mark. You summoned Ricky from the Commonwealth. I heard your voice. You
Brother
said the
Rick, no love for Mike? What's
I
up?
love you too, Brother Mike. No, I love you too, Brother Mike. Now, of course, there's very few people that are on my list. You're not one of them. That word Confederate. I'm thinking I'm running for office. Now, my opponent's a Republican. Now, I was just speaking about the vampires. See, now, Ricky from the Commonwealth, he's a Republican that's an anti-federalist. That makes him a Democrat. That's not a riddle. These bastards stole America.
Who are these bastards? Are they
Brother
vampires?
Rick, what office are you running for?
Well, let's see here. From 1706 up to 1861, something we didn't have called taxes. Oh, yeah, Mr. Jefferson, now he tried to wipe away the debt, but he didn't succeed. But Mr. Jackson did. He blew the damn United States Bank away.
He's talking about the Civil War, where he believes he's...
Andrew Jackson got rid of the Second National Bank.
Well, he also believes that he is Jefferson Davis. He believes he's a reincarnation of Jefferson Davis, the president of the Confederacy.
Yeah, but that doesn't really have anything to do with what he's talking about.
Okay.
I'm not sure
what Jefferson. I thought
what
that's
office
what
is Ricky running for?
I'll tell you if you let me.
All right, well, hang on to you. Ricky, hang on. We're coming up here in a moment. It is Free Talk Live.
Go away, boy, you bother me.
Velvet Coin Studio. This is the call to freedom. It's the Crypto Hour, brought to you by Helium. 4-7 here on LRN.FM. When you hear the faucet, be qualified to get some free coins. This is the call to freedom.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
Hawaii was a wake-up call. Don't be caught without a disaster shelter. Atlas makes an all-disaster shelter that will protect your family from fallout, tornadoes, and hurricanes for only $99.99. That also includes the NBC air filtration system, solid steel construction with an airtight, bulletproof door. That's right, for $99.99 and up. Call 1-855-4BUNKER or go to iwantthatshelter.com. Atlas Survival Shelters, the world leader in fallout shelters.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up what you want. Dial toll-free here at 855-450-FREE. Like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype at the Skype username LRN.FM. Smuggling guns into Canada. We can talk a little bit more about that story coming up here. With you in the studio, it's Ian.
And Mark.
And Mike.
We go back to Ricky from the Commonwealth. He is on the line with us from Skype. Mike, you'd asked Ricky what he's running for. He says he's running for office, and he hasn't given you the answer yet.
Well, certainly I will. I'm running for District 189 in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. That's State Representative Rosemary Brown's seat currently.
Excellent. So, what party are you running under?
Well, I told you I'm a Republican that's an anti-federalist. That would make me a Democrat.
So, how many people are in this district? How many potential voters?
It's a pretty good-sized district.
That's not an answer to my question.
Oh, I don't even know myself. I know
how many people voted in the last election?
Hell if I know. Everybody.
You don't have a list of the Democrats in your district?
Not particularly.
You're going to lose. Doesn't seem like he's done his footwork.
You need to go to the voter register and get a list of all the voters in the past election.
You can't wander around in a leather duster and expect to win, pal.
And the Confederate
with the Confederate flag
fly very well. Yeah. You got to go door to door. All politicians retail, shake people in the hand, kiss their babies, all that sort of thing, and let them get to know the real Ricky.
Okay, here's the thing. Everybody knows the Ricky from the Commonwealth.
Everybody.
Damn near enough. Let me tell you something, Ian.
Do you call talk radio there, too?
I never called talk radio before I called your show,
really?
Brother. And I never call anyone else.
Because a lot of our callers are regulars to other talk radio shows too. So like people have heard some of the other, chronic callers to Free Talk Live calling other shows, sometimes under different names, but they will hear those people call. So you're saying we're the first show you've called on talk radio. Have you called other shows?
Like I said, you're the first and only show I ever called.
All right.
And awesome. I have a reason for that. Now the reality, absolutely, because you know what? I believe in you guys. Now I'm going to tell you something. Now, my strategy is very simple. Now, in 2016, I was going to run when I was approached by the DNC. Now, I canvassed. I estimated that I got about 1,000 votes by canvassing. Now, I'll tell you this. I already have the support of 2 police departments. I have the whole cab company.
The whole cab company? So are you going to be regulating Uber? How did you get the cab companies to support you?
Very simply put, I'm going after the Department of Transportation, and my enemy is Monroe County Transit, the bus company. Because here's why.
Fewer buses, more taxi rides. Good strategy.
Here's why I'm against MCTA. See, they're a private company that's tax exempt, so they're tax free. And by the way, who dictates to them and controls them? The Department of Transportation, the damn state. Yeah, they don't like me. Right now, I'm banned from their buses. Actually, I just met with them.
How'd you get banned from their buses?
How did that happen?
That
No, you
sounds
really
like a
wanna
Rosa
know?
Parks kind of case to me.
I think it's just the opposite. Go ahead.
Yeah, very simply. You know, there's no freedom of speech on those damn buses. They're all a bunch of little socialists.
That's probably true.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you exactly what happened. I was on the bus, and you know what happened? You know, they're taking forever as usual, getting to the destination, and I'm talking to the driver. They say, "Why don't you just shut up?" I said, "No, I got to talk to this guy," and I didn't have a chance.
Did the driver tell you to shut up, or
Just
does the other passengers?
People on the bus use their freedom of speech to tell you to shut up?
That's right.
Okay.
Now they can do that, but here's what they can't do. Now I called her a name because I said you're hard of hearing, because I asked for a cigarette and nobody had any, and I don't even have it.
You know you're not allowed to smoke on the bus, right?
Well, that's the thing. I didn't have any cigarettes, and now I hear a peon say no smoking on the bus. Now here's the best part. Now he says I'm going to call the police. I said, "What's the charge?" He says, "You can't use that word. It started with an A."
Okay.
So I just did. Now here's the best part. So she didn't. She tells the driver, "Hey, you better call the police before he kills someone."
Whoa.
They left the scene. I talked to the officer, of course. You know what the nice thing is? When I go off the bus, you know what this girl said? "What's wrong? You look like an idiot." I said, "Why?" See, you can look at yourself, wrapping yourself in the American flag like that. And I said, "You know what? You're right. This is the battle flag of North Virginia Army. That's the Confederate States of America. And you want to know something? I was right the first time. You know, that makes an American flag, but I was right the first time. You are a blank." And I walked off the bus. They left the scene, by the way. I have a police
Wait a
report-
minute. So they left this. The police responded. You had words with them. They left the scene. At what point were you banned from riding the buses?
That day I got a letter. Now today I was with their higher ups, and you know what the thing is? Their safety guys.
Whoa! Wait, you got a letter the same day?
Oh, I got told I was banned that Monday, and I got a letter a few days later. Now here's the thing: I met with higher ups today, oddly enough,
in the bus department.
That's right. Actually, the top person. And you know what's very interesting?
Now you know what? If you don't have video, I don't believe you.
You need to. You just start taping this, Ricky. Tape it, put it online.
Well, tape. I mean, you don't have tape anymore. But do you have a smartphone?
Yeah.
Do you have a smartphone?
Better. I got even better because you know what? They always lose the tape because all these
buses.
That's
right. He's got his Windows phone. I don't know if you can record video on Windows phones. Does it let you do that?
You should record and put it on YouTube, man. You would be making some serious.
I'm telling you, and that's
going
to actually impact the campaign. If he starts going viral on YouTube, then everybody really is going to know Ricky from the Commonwealth. Thank you for the call tonight. The toll-free number, although I don't know if they have Cell 411 for Windows phones.
Wind blows?
Yeah, I suspect they don't have Cell 411 for Windows phones.
I have no clue.
That's maybe worth looking at. I doubt Virgil Vaduva, the boss man behind the scenes there at Cell 411, is going to find Windows phones worth programming for because it
I
takes
imagine
time.
you'll get cussed at if you ask about that.
Why?
I believe
very
that somebody
anti-Windows?
has said, yeah, I'm pretty sure. I believe somebody's actually pushed for that, and he's like, no.
Because nobody has a Windows phone.
You could do that.
So, you have to pay a programmer, or if you are a programmer, you have to spend hours and hours and hours trying to make something work for a phone platform that nobody has. I mean, Ricky from the Commonwealth is the only person that I know of who has a Windows phone. I don't know anyone else.
Get one?
Probably call Microsoft or something. I don't know. Go to the Microsoft. Do they have Microsoft stores where you can go?
I can't imagine they do.
Like they have the Apple Store thing?
Best Buy.
Yeah, but like Apple Store is only bankrupt and out of business.
So there you go. There's Ricky from the Commonwealth. Toll-free number here tonight, 855-450, free like freedom. So guns not welcome in Canada. One man smuggling guns through the Haskell Free Library in Derby Line, Vermont, also Stansted, Quebec, because the library itself actually crosses the border. There's the border line that runs through the library. He was leaving guns his accomplices were leaving guns in the bathroom, and he was picking them up and walking them out because the rules are, and I didn't explain this before, having gone to Derby Line, we learned what the rules were. You can go, if you're from Stansted, the Canadian side, you have to walk into the United States to go into the library. There aren't doors that you can get into on either side. The only public door is on the U.S. side. So you are legally allowed, without being checked by either Border Patrol, to walk up the sidewalk. So you're walking south up into Derby Line, Vermont, and you have to stay on the sidewalk because, again, there are cameras purportedly watching your every move. You stay on the sidewalk, walk into the front door, and then when you leave, you also have to go that same path on the way out. If they notice that you go a different direction, they will intervene, supposedly, and stop you and search you or arrest you or demand you turn around or whatever it is that they do to people who don't leave the same way they came out. So he walked in, without being checked, picked up a bag of guns in the bathroom, and then walked out without being checked right on back into Canada. I mean, it was a pretty good plan, except for the fact that the librarian apparently picked up on it. She noticed the dude walk out with a big bag that he hadn't walked in with, and she tipped off the Border Patrol, and they did the investigations and ultimately, strangely, ended up busting him in the middle of the woods when he picked up 34 guns from a dealer who'd driven them up from Florida into a remote section of northeast Vermont near Lake Wallace. He then hiked into the forest and met the accomplice, handing over $18,000 in cash for the firearms, according to Global News.
I would think the forest would be the place to do this, frankly, that the library is what got him busted. What exactly is it necessary to go into the library to pass off these guns when you can go into the forest? I mean, most of the U.S.-Canadian border is just a forest.
Well, apparently that's where they caught him, though. He was then arrested by Canadian police and is now facing up to 20 years in prison. One of the American accomplices, Annette Wexler, previously pleaded guilty to conspiring to make false statements to licensed gun dealers and unlawful exportation, according to court documents. So it's a tragic story of peaceful people just trying to defend themselves and help others in Canada defend themselves with guns, and unfortunately now all the taxpayers will be forced to pay to put them in a jail cell. The toll-free number here tonight is 855-450-FREE like freedom. You are welcome to take control of the airwaves. Bring up whatever's on your mind. Coming up, Grumpy Cat wins a lawsuit. We'll tell you about it.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that tenth of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene, the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, January 31st, 2018. Silver is trading at $17.22 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,342 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $46, and the average price of Bitcoin is $10,282. Antiwar.com reports President Trump has signed an executive order that is intended to reverse President Obama's intentions to close the detention center at Guantanamo Bay. Details are still emerging, but a leaked cable suggests this plan was in the offing for a while. Trump has been clear time and again that he wants to keep Guantanamo Bay open and that he'd like to fill it with new detainees. The cable told diplomats to assure worried nations that there are yet no specific plans to add to detainees yet. The Pentagon is expected to have to spend in the neighborhood of $500 million trying to get construction plans in place to keep the facility viable, as it was expected to have been closed long ago. Officials have yet to comment on the matter, and it's unclear when they intend to make any public statements on the future of the facility. It clearly does not make much sense to keep the site open if new detainees aren't anticipated, but admitting as much is likely to be politically risky given the site's history of abuse.
For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
UPI reports the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency official who issued a false missile alert earlier this month has been fired, and 3 others were either suspended or resigned. Officials said the employee who issued the alert was fired on Friday. Another Hawaii EMA deputy resigned after January 13th, and a 3rd employee is suspended without pay, and Hawaii EMA Administrator Vern Miyagi resigned Tuesday morning. The false alert resulted from a miscommunication between state supervisors announcing a drill and the employee who issued the alert, according to the Federal Communications Commission. The employee who sent the false alert wasn't aware it was a drill, according to statements issued on Tuesday, which gives a breakdown of what the FCC believes went wrong. The report found the employee has been counseled for confusing drills for real events at least twice before, once for a fire and once for a tsunami. The person responsible for sending the false ballistic missile alert refused to talk to the FCC, but the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency provided information last week from a written statement made by the individual shortly after the incident. Hawaii's alert origination software did not distinguish between the testing environment and the live alert production environment. The FCC statement was critical of the Hawaii EMA's handling of the correction and said sending new information on social media rather than via the same alerting system it used to send the false alert was not the best practice. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io. Reuters reports Texas Governor Greg Abbott asked the state's top police agency on Tuesday to start an investigation into Caroli Ranch, a training facility used by USA Gymnastics where young female athletes said they were sexually molested by the team's doctor. In a letter calling for an investigation by the Texas Rangers into the facility in Huntsville, Texas, about 70 miles north of Houston, Abbott said the public statements made by athletes who previously trained at the ranch are gut-wrenching. The facility had been used for regular training camps, but USA Gymnastics said earlier this month that had canceled training sessions and was exploring alternative sites until a permanent location can be found. The complex was opened by celebrated gymnastics coaches Bella and Martha Caroli in the mid-1980s and played a vital role in making the U.S. women's team a dominant force in global competitions. Last week, disgraced longtime USA Gymnastics team doctor Larry Nassar was sentenced to up to 175 years in prison for abusing young female gymnasts who were entrusted in his care. At his sentencing hearing in Michigan, about 160 of his victims gave harrowing accounts of the abuse they suffered at the hands of Nassar, who served as the program's physician through 4 Olympic Games. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Thank you, Jode. I appreciate you taking up this issue.
Berto, if a man ain't cooked crisp on the Hellfire Desert, ain't he ought to be left on his own?
Well, right, Jode. Immigrants are desperate for a better way of life.
We need the strongest of these crude backward browns to keep us all alive. I see the ones that can swim the Rio Grande, too. Berto, you swum that border river to get here, ain't you?
Chode, not all Mexicans came here by swimming the Rio Grande.
No. I got sympathy. I crossed Huron Lake in a barrel myself using hands as paddles. Lived off the carp. What jumped at me? Now, you swum that river,
No,
ain't you?
Chode, actually, I was born here.
What you know about hard work? Ain't never swum no river.
Many immigrants, they
I say you
deserve
ain't
to
never
be-
knowed a man till you seen his teeth. Show him your teeth. Too many teeth rotting out shows you're dishonest in the mind. You got strong manful teeth, Bartol. I apologize.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Is Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want here by dialing toll free 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype as well, so feel free to Skype on in here at Skype username LRN.FM. Coming up, Grumpy Cat has won a $710,000 lawsuit in the world of copyright. We'll tell you more about that. With you in the studio here tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
And Mike.
And, of course, you can bring up whatever you want. That is the point here on Free Talk Live. Don't forget, you can call us on Skype at Skype username LRN.FM or call in via the on-air call-in line on Discord, which you can join us there over at discord.lrn.fm. Now, here on Free Talk Live, we're generally not big fans of intellectual property. Although I can't speak for you, Mike. I don't know if this topic has come up on one of the shows that you've been on with us. Yes.
I actually argue for certain forms of intellectual property. I'm just against abuse of that, and I'm against actually government-enforced intellectual property. I think that there's... So, for instance, trademark has origins in common law and really doesn't have a basis in statutory protection. It's more a matter of your reputation and the consumer's right to be protected against fraud from being sold wrongly labeled products that are misrepresenting things.
So Mark has used the example of sunglasses. He had some Oakleys in the past. But no, you bought the Joekleys, right? You got
I bought the Joekleys, yeah.
Right. So if I have a Chinese manufacturer and we're manufacturing Okies, where the logo looks a lot like Oakley, but it's actually spelled somewhat differently. It's an Okie, so it's missing a letter. Would that be something that violates your idea of...
That's always something that you could argue before a jury and let the jury decide whether that's
But wait, I thought the government wasn't going to be involved.
Well, a jury doesn't necessarily involve a government. If you have a common law court, it doesn't require that you have a government court. You can have...
But what jurisdiction would they have? I mean, normally the government courts have the ability to impose their restrictions and such.
They
and
do.
Their
They
verdicts.
do. But you can, if you had a anarcho-capitalist system, you would have essentially common law would become what are called common economic protocols that insurance companies would compete to enforce your rights that you paid premiums to have protected. And so you could protect your right to your intellectual property contractually rather than through government force. And that's something that we.
But how do you contract with a company that's not going to contract with you? I mean, they just want to compete. Oakley can't contract with the Okie company because the Okie company, they don't care about Oakley's contract.
Sure, but if you sell something to somebody that they think is one thing and it's another,
that's misrepresentation.
Right,
that's fraud. So if
it would be up to a jury or a panel of judges to decide whether or not
some
that's fraud.
sort of impartial arbiter would have to decide, is this misrepresenting or is it sufficiently distinguishing as a product and trademark to be deemed to be not a copy or ripoff?
But what level of, I guess, what happens if, okay, so let's go with the Okie idea. So Okie sells some sunglasses to somebody for $10 who thought they were buying a pair of Oakleys, which they thought was worth $200 for $10, and they thought they were getting a great deal, but it turns out the build quality is not so great, and it's obviously not a pair of Oakleys, but they didn't realize it at the time. They didn't look closely enough at the logo to see that there was a letter missing.
Right.
Would they be arguing in front of this court with a company that is not
could,
even based
for instance, if you paid with your credit card, you could go to your credit card company and say, listen, I paid this for this product.
And get a reversal.
And get a reversal on the charge.
Okay.
There's all kinds of processes depending upon, what sort of avenue you
But in that
choose to
case, you
follow.
don't need a court. You would just need to convince the credit card company.
The credit card company, you're dealing with fraud insurance that the credit card company has to have coverage for, and so you're going to deal with insurance companies that are, if there are enough such reversals of charges, the insurer may say, let's track down who these people are who are
to blacklist that company.
that thing. And maybe a lot of companies will have insurance policies of their own and say, listen, this insurance company talks to the insurance company of the company producing the fake product and say, this person, this customer of yours is committing fraud, and then you have these arbitration between different insurance companies over the contracts.
Okay, now that's what I like to hear. I mean, rather than courts trying to impose a viewpoint on somebody because they didn't like the logo of the company or whatever, I like to hear solutions that involve the marketplace acting in ways that can protect consumers without involving some court system, whether that be the governments or because giving power to one particular body is a very disturbing concept.
And that's one of the things I really love about smart contract technology and cryptocurrency, because you can utilize that technology to create a private form of copyright where you are only distributing license to use your product to people who pay that execute the smart contract, and for the blockchain becomes the means of regulation, so that if someone copies your digital content and tries to upload it to the blockchain and claim it their own, the blockchain would have, for instance, heuristics that would look for patterns and say, oh, this is a copy of this.
Yeah, but that presumes that there's not only just one blockchain. There's multiple blockchains, and there could very well be blockchains that support, copying and allow you to post whatever you want and have no way of taking it down.
But there would certainly be ways because this is sort of an area of polycentric law where each blockchain is its own legal jurisdiction, and so then you would have issues of arbitration between blockchains of which who allows shape shifting from one into another if one is permitting piracy and one is protecting against it. Then you've got issues of differing policies on these economic issues, and so one would say you can't shapeshift one crypto into another if one is against piracy and the other was for it.
I see. Okay. So, I mean, obviously these things are still going to exist. Even in the absence of the state, there are going to be people copying movies and music and things like that.
The saying is with locks and keys that locks and keys only keep honest people honest.
Yeah.
It creates a cost to being a bad actor. And that's kind of the point of having cryptocurrency, is that in order to try to counterfeit cryptocurrency, it actually costs you more to fake it than to do it honestly.
So really what it comes down to is people believe in intellectual property. I mean, we do. We just sort of believe that, hey, that's my joke, or you took my idea, or whatever it is, right? Like we believe in intellectual property. We also we want ideas to be free. Right, so
we do, but I mean, I like free ideas. I like that idea.
I'm talking generally about people.
Okay,
and you can insert yourself into the conversation if you want, but I'm just making two things that are sort of clear but dichotomous. On one hand, we like intellectual property. On the other hand, we like ideas to be free. So in a world where you can buy a song for $1 off of the Apple Store, it's probably not worth hunting it down through, the free channels or whatever, trying to rip it off of, this place or that place.
Because of the time involved.
And getting the crappy, the time involved and all that other stuff. It's $1. We can live with it. So if they make it easy for people to follow the rules, they will. If they make it expensive, difficult, and arduous for people to follow the rules, they won't. And that's what this comes down to.
And if you make it easy for people to use what they've bought a license to in more places, they're less likely to be inclined towards piracy.
Sure.
Whereas, and this is something that we do with my company Galactic Systems with our Galacticoin blockchain, is the idea is that we feel like the walled garden business model is used to hem people in and limit their ability to use content in a ham-fisted attempt to protect content, which is very easy to be copied. But if you utilize smart contracts to make it hard for people to use that content over a wide range of markets, then you have a situation where you can protect people's content, but at the same time enable people who have bought legitimate licenses to use it in a wider range of places. They're less likely to try to pirate it, and because the creators can sell it in more places, they'll charge lower prices that more people will seem to be a reasonable price for use of that content.
Right. That's what it all comes down to. It's not about, the law and all that other stuff. It's just about making it easy for people to do things the right way.
And have a good value proposition that everybody can agree to.
We'll continue the discussion here because we haven't even told you about what's happening with Grumpy Cat, which many of you may be familiar with Grumpy Cat from the various memes that have involved him on the internet. But now he's been in court. Maybe it's a her. I don't know. More coming up here. It is Free Talk Live, 855 450 free.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Thinking about getting into cryptocurrency? It's time you looked into Dash. Dash is digital money that you can use to send instant and private payments anywhere for pennies. Dash offers a decentralized network where miners are rewarded for keeping it strong and safe. Dash has made a huge impact in the crypto world. Start your journey. Check out dash.org for more information. And get in now on the future of cryptocurrency. Dash.org.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. Download the Bitcoin.com wallet for easy and secure access to your Bitcoin Cash. It's perfect for beginners, and the Bitcoin.com wallet makes using and holding Bitcoins easy. No logins are required. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at Bitcoin.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
Because we are smothering in spam, please do not reply to all when you can instead reply. I was recently among over 100 invited to a corporate reunion. It's always a warm affair, and that's the problem. Enthusiasm for our upcoming get-together caused many recipients to RSVP the organizer with a cheery reply to all. I can't wait. Then others piled on with a reply to all to that. Then the "I'm out of my office now" autoresponders joined in. So I replied to all, asking that we all reply only to the organizer. Hey, at least I tried. One invitee, apparently retired, shot back, "Point taken, but I really like seeing the responses since they're so positive." Smiley face. This better be an open bar. From survivalspeech.com, I'm Holland Cook.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. You may take control of the airwaves and dial in toll-free here at 855-450-FREE, like freedom. Talking about intellectual property again, in this case, a copyright lawsuit. And this really has something to do with a contract violation more so than anything else. But we'll tell you about it here, what happened with Grumpy Cat Limited, which is the company that was created around Grumpy Cat. And we'll tell you more about that and what happened with $700,000+ reward or award in a verdict here. With you in the studio tonight, you've got Ian.
And Mark.
And Mike.
If you want to protect your home with security, a security system, well, you've probably checked out some of the options and you know that it's not necessarily cheap. And if you do cheap out, in a lot of cases, you're going to get some really crappy equipment. So what do? If you don't have a whole lot to spend, I would recommend looking at the Blink Home security system. I was actually pretty surprised. Given the price of the product, I wasn't expecting a whole lot.
It's a great value.
But actually, these cameras look good, and the lighting on them is actually surprisingly effective. They got an LED light on there that, I mean, you walk into the back room here at the station, if it's dark out, it's going to be pretty bright once that thing goes off. You're going to know that you're being recorded when you
like
trigger
a motion
this thing.
sensing light.
Yeah. 3 Blink cams. You get 3 of them for what some of the other guys will charge you for one of their wired cameras. These are wireless. The whole system's wireless. There's only one a cord, and that's the one you plug in the hub with to the wall outlet. And then that hub links up wirelessly to all of the cameras that you set up. And you can get more than 3 if you want. It's up to you over at blinkprotect.com/FTL. But you unbox them, you put the batteries in. The batteries are included. And you put the cameras where you want them, and then you set it all up via a Wi-Fi enabled device like a tablet or a smartphone. Super easy setup. You're going to be done within moments from unpacking the box. Blinkprotect.com/FTL. Great for your home, great for maybe a small office as well. Blinkprotect.com/FTL, like Free Talk Live. As we continue here, the story is from TheWrap.com. It's about Grumpy Cat. Headline here, or the beginning of the story says that Grumpy Cat has a lot of reasons to be less grumpy this week. 710,001 reasons to be exact. The Grumpy Cat Limited Company,
$710,000 to make me pretty happy,
was awarded $710,001 in damages on Monday when a California jury, and this was last Monday, decided that the beverage company Grenade was guilty of infringing on its copyright and trademark. Quote, I think, first of all, that it's just a verdict. The jury followed the law and the facts and reached a verdict that was justified based on the law and the facts, said Grumpy Cat's lawyer, David Junless. He said, it's nice that my client's rights were vindicated on this. It was a hard-fought battle. Grumpy Cat Limited, formed by Tabitha Bundenson to monetize the viral fame of her sour-faced cat, his real name or her real name, Tardar Sauce, sued Grenade in 2015, claiming the company used
Tartar sauce.
It's spelled Tardar, Tardar.
Yeah,
I see.
Sued Grenade in 2015, claiming the company used the cat's image on several of its products, despite only having the rights to sell a line of iced coffees called Grumpy Cat Grumppuccino.
Okay.
So they had entered into an agreement with this company to license the photo, but they allegedly went further than what the agreement allowed them to do. The Grumpy Cat image appeared on Grenade's roasted coffee line and T-shirts, neither of which were part of the original deal. Grenade filed its own countersuit, claiming Grumpy Cat didn't hold up their end of the bargain and failed to promote the brand as outlined.
Stop looking grumpy.
They said they failed to promote the brand as outlined under the terms of the deal. However, the jury was not moved by their argument and ultimately decided in favor of the meme. Quote, it's important precedent when you have something like a meme online. It's the first verdict ever rendered in favor of a viral meme. Memes have rights too, unquote. Do you agree? Does a meme have rights?
Well, does a meme have rights?
Tartar Sauce's owner has rights.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, I mean, what you're dealing with here is is a picture, right? I mean, like an image, a likeness.
Yes.
And who should be able to make money off of this likeness? I think we're clear that this coffee company wouldn't have been able to sell their coffee, at least not at the speed and depth that they were able to do with Grumpy Cat's picture on it, right?
Sure.
That you're willing to concede that. All right. So if they take my cat's picture and put it on their coffee, then yes, they should have to compensate me. That's my belief. I mean, there is no intellectual property to me any more thorough than your face.
Do you own the right to your face if somebody else takes a picture of it?
You do have a right to your likeness, yeah.
You do.
I don't think that they should have to hunt hither and nigh for your picture and all that stuff, especially if you're just going in some YouTube video someplace, that they should have to go through all the work of blurring you out and all that stuff.
Because generally the law does side in the favor of the likeness being protected, meaning that if you're not a public personality,
you're not a public figure,
and somebody takes a picture of you and then markets that and
they have
makes
to
money,
get you to release your rights to your image for them to be able to commercialize that content.
Right. But should they?
Should they have to? Or?
Yeah, should they have to?
So in this case, I would say absolutely. Now, in the case of, let's say, News Channel 9's, Rock'em Sock'em consumer reporter goes into a gas station where the mechanics are ripping everybody off, and they put their hidden cameras in the car, they catch the mechanics on video.
That's where you've got wrongdoing being investigated and reported on.
And then we're going to run commercials after. Wait through the commercial break to find out what our investigative reporting came up with.
They're making money off
so
of it.
they're making money off of it.
But the other side, then you've got things like Paris Hilton sex tapes where stuff that was her likeness was publicized and people made a lot of money off it that were not her, and she had a right to keep that content protected and not have people steal it and sell it. And so you would assume that if anything, your sex tapes should belong to you, and you should have a right to.
What if you release it with the intention of making yourself some kind of celebritarian?
Well, you should have a right to do that.
Has that happened?
It's my understanding that some people accuse Paris Hilton of having released her own sex tape.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about celebritarians. I thought that was a libertarian.
That would be a celebritary.
So in this case, $710,000 from a company called Grenade, now going to the probably mostly the attorney, I would imagine, and then some of it ends up Grumpy Cat's going to get a nice new gold bowl.
Who would ever think that that the name Grumpachino would be a good brand name? I would.
Apparently Grenade. Don't they also have a brand name called Cocaine out there somewhere as well for like an energy drink or something like that? Anyway, you're welcome to comment on intellectual property. I think that it's a sticky issue for a lot of libertarians.
I think it's sticky, yes.
Because people have their own personal beliefs about what they think, but then they also violate intellectual property in a lot of ways. So some people like some intellectual property, but not others. To me, you should be either for it or against it across the board.
Let me ask you this, Ian. Let's say that, let's see, what are some of the things that what if Facebook tomorrow begins using one of your pictures with a little word bubble that says, I, Ian Freeman, love Facebook, right?
Or
okay.
Ian Freeman free Facebook.
I really don't care. You can use my picture for whatever you want. Put me on a douche bottle if you want to. I don't care.
But I understand that's just wrong, because then people are going to be like, oh, well, I respect Ian Freeman and the stands he's taken in this world. I'll use Facebook like he does. You're allowing those people to be misled because you are too lazy to get up and do anything about it.
It's not that I'm lazy. I've just got other things that are more important than filing lawsuits. More coming up.
Hear that? That's the sound of a house being trashed while a gang of thieves ransack the place. And what they don't steal will be destroyed.
This year, resolve not to be the next victim of a break-in. Go to faketv.com and discover a device that creates the illusion someone inside is watching TV, even when you're miles away. Security is a mindset, and Fake TV should be part of your security solution. Be vigilant, but not fearful. faketv.com. Hawaii was a wake-up call. Don't be caught without a disaster shelter. Atlas makes an all-disaster shelter that will protect your family from fallout, tornadoes, and hurricanes for only $99.99. That also includes the NBC air filtration system, solid steel construction with an airtight, bulletproof door. That's right, for $99.99 and up. Call 1-855-4BUNKER or go to iwantthatshelter.com. Atlas Survival Shelters, the world leader in fallout shelters.
Free Talk Live.
My father was a police officer most of my life. He went to prison for police brutality. And my father was the chief.
What was he like at home with you when you were growing up? Was he violent with you?
He was never with me. He practically ignored me. Actually, I never really had a relationship with him, but extremely violent to my mother. He beat her up practically every day of my life.
Oh, my God.
He never touched me or my sisters or my brothers.
Did he have a drinking problem?
No, he's never drank alcohol in his
Wow,
entire
so
life.
violent without alcohol is very interesting.
I lived in a very small town in West Virginia, and my sisters and I and my brothers, we could do whatever we wanted. There were no laws for us. I could drive as fast as I wanted.
You said that he abused your mother, beat her frequently. Did she ever leave him?
Yes, numerous times, but she couldn't do anything because there was no help for her. There were no police to call to help her. There was no help for her because my father was very well connected. He knew everybody in the state.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free here at 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We are 2 weeks away from Anarchapulco, the 4th annual edition of this excellent Liberty event. I had the pleasure of going last year for the first time. Mark, you've been to a couple of them.
2, as I can recall.
2 out of the first 3, and then again we both went last year. This year is going to be amazing. It's going to be sold out, so we're sorry if you didn't get your tickets. It's too late. If you can maybe get somebody who's scalping theirs, maybe they can't go at the last moment, you might be able to get in that way, but otherwise you're going to have to watch from home. And that's the good news this year, is that if you didn't get your tickets, they're streaming the event live. So you're going to be able to see Ron Paul, you're going to be able to see G. Edward Griffin, Jeffrey Tucker, Roger Ver, Larkin Rose, Jeff Berwick, Bruce Fenton, Brett Venat, Julia Taransky, Dana Martin, Juan Galt, Adam Kokesh, Kerry Wedler. Well, maybe Adam Kokesh. He may or may not make it depending on bail conditions. Vit Jedlicka, Sterling Lujan, And I don't know if they're going to stream the live musicians, but there will be musical performances there as well. It's the Princess Resort in Acapulco, Mexico, February 15th through the 18th for the main event. You can go and learn more at anarchapulco.com. And again, the event's a sellout. And so they're going to be streaming presumably every speech, unless there's some sort of technical difficulty that prevents it. So look forward to that. Even if you can't make it this year, you might want to mark your calendar for sometime in February of next year and start planning now to get your tickets for 2019, because I suspect that since this one was a sellout, they're likely going to do it again.
Bigger and better.
Yeah. I don't know if it can get much bigger than this. I mean, this is a monstrous hotel. It's like a pyramid-shaped, kind of Aztec-looking hotel on the beach in Acapulco.
But aren't there only like 600 or 800 attendees this year for Acapulco, or is it more this time?
Boy, I don't know. I would say there were several hundred last year, and I heard, Mark, I think that you said there was maybe like 3 times the amount of people going as went last year.
That's what I've heard.
It may be closer to 1,500 or something like that.
Should be big.
But we'll find out more when we're there. We'll talk to Nathan Freeman or Jeff Berwick and see what they have to say about the numbers. So stay tuned for more Free Talk Live from Anarchapulco, and visit anarchapulco.com for more on that event. As we continue here, we're talking about intellectual property, copyright, the Grumpy Cat meme that the lawyer for the Grumpy Cat people is saying that memes have rights too, and is out there touting the $710,000 verdict that a jury awarded them based on what was apparently an alleged contract violation between a coffee manufacturer who had negotiated a deal to use Grumpy Cat's image on one line of its products, but then decided to put Grumpy Cat's image on T-shirts and a different line of products as well, in contradiction to the terms of the agreement.
Well, part of their problem is that they already signed the contract. They acknowledged the intellectual property from the beginning. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Right. So they wrote the contract for the amount and all that other stuff. Now, the lawyers' shtick with memes have rights too. Well, that's just people talking, okay? It's just something, and I'm not sure that memes have rights. I think that what we're talking about here is the right to one's visage and endorsement.
And in this case, you're not dealing with the appearance of a person.
Right.
It's a cat.
Does the cat have the same rights?
Does the cat have the same rights to control their appearance that a person does?
Do you have the right, the exclusive right, as the person who feeds and keeps the cat in a house and who takes the cat to a veterinary clinic on occasion, do you have the right to control the cat's visage?
Yes. Clearly.
Well, I guess that's what they're saying here, but they're using pictures probably not taken by Grenade, but likely taken by the Grumpy Cat people. If somebody sees Grumpy Cat and takes their own picture of Grumpy Cat, does the Grumpy Cat owner then claim legitimate authority over the photograph of the other photographer?
Photos. I mean, and then there's celebrity photos all the time. Then the celebrities can't control that,
like paparazzi.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
that's a great point, because they're public personalities, and so is Grumpy Cat.
So is Grumpy Cat.
It makes it real simple.
Not a personality, but some kind of a
catality, a felinality.
I have to say that it's really simple to say, yes, the owner controls the visage of the animal. And Grumpy Cat is a very distinctive animal. We're not talking about my golden retriever, which looks a heck of a lot like other golden retrievers. I'd have a heck of a time trying to convince a jury that that's Fruit Loop there, right there. Can you see the dot?
She's fat.
She's fat.
Oh, but my dog Ginger has a very unique spot pattern on her body. And
she does, but I mean, honestly, when it comes down to it, Grumpy Cat has parlance on the internet. Ginger is another Springer Spaniel, as far as people are concerned.
She's a German short-haired pointer.
I'm sorry.
Get it right.
Come on.
Thank you. Thank you for the correction. I mean, so I'm happy with this verdict. I don't know much about the 700,000. I can't say whether I consider that a good number or a bad number or anything like that. But I don't have any particular problem with this. If this company attempted to, by hook or crook, use this picture in order to sell more coffee, and they were caught, and somebody brought it to a civil court over which I don't have to pay because it's fee run, then, yeah, great.
Okay, here's an example. Let's say that I'm a painter and I paint a rendition of Grumpy Cat.
Good point.
And I sell my rendition of Grumpy Cat to some company selling a product. Do I have a right to my rendition of the image of Grumpy Cat, or does Grumpy Cat control the image of Grumpy Cat?
Excellent question. In the case of the painting, the difference being that's your rendition, that's your interpretation of what you've observed, whereas the photograph is the photons reflecting into the collector of the camera.
But a lot of photography is considered art because there's a lot of it's interpreted with filters and point of view and all that sort of stuff. So,
I get the art arguments here, but we all know what a picture is. A picture is the light bouncing off of my face. And no, you can't slap my face on your box of crackers and say Mark Edge endorses these crackers if I A, don't endorse them, and
Edge
B,
chicken biscuits.
You don't send me a check. Okay, so first off, Free Talk
Live.
Even
if you like them.
I want to see Mark's face on a box of crackers now.
We do not.
Chat room.
Free Talk Live does not do endorsements. We will endorse a product if we believe in the product. So we will tell our listeners from the bottom of our hearts what we think about it.
So we do endorsements.
But people don't pay for it. They pay for airtime, but not for the endorsement.
I see.
So a live read ad on Free Talk Live will cost you $100.
Yeah.
One of these that you read.
Yeah.
But if Ian says, I like this.
Mm-hmm. We don't charge extra for that, is what you're saying.
Right. We because we're the hosts, we don't do that. That's normally done in most venues out there, and we don't have to do that anymore.
Right.
And we never did that. It's never been done. So
that's absolutely
there
true.
You go.
So there you go. That's the intellectual property story. You're welcome to comment, though, if you want. This is an issue that divides libertarians. It's something that we'll probably be talking about forever on Free Talk Live because people are going to – some folks are going to change their minds on it over time.
More and more people do more and more work that's creative and rather than labor. And you should – if you're going to own your labor, your creativity is part of your labor. So, where do you, just because it's maybe an idea is immaterial versus the material work you do. I mean, it's such a vacuous distinction between creativity and labor.
It was funny. We were on a radio station that I'm not going to say which one, but that got rid of us because there was a conflict in the market with another station picking us up. And I explained to that program director when he told us he was getting rid of us. I said, "Well, look, I'm sorry. We love being on your station. We want to stay there, but I don't have an exclusivity agreement. We actually took that out of our contract." So when stations sign the agreement to air Free Talk Live, they don't get exclusivity for their marketplace. Because if somebody else wants to come on board, I'm just like, come on, I don't care. I'm not going to sue a company that takes our show even without an agreement, right? Like, go ahead. We don't care. If you put us on the air, that's great. We appreciate that. But some stations, they're used to having exclusivity. That's kind of the standard in syndicated radio. And so when I said that, he was like, well, what if I just started up my own Free Talk Live? I'd be like, fine, go ahead. That actually already happened. There was white supremacists who started the most possibly offensive version of somebody copying a thing. Already happened a decade ago.
Didn't that whole show end because of like a murder-suicide?
Yeah, he killed himself and his wife.
How awful.
Yeah. I think it was asphyxiation in a garage and a gunshot. More coming up here. It's Free Talk Live.
Live from the Verticoin studio. This is the call to freedom. It's the Crypto Hour brought to you by Helium 47 here on LRN.FM. When you hear the faucet, be caller 5 to get some free coins. This is the call to freedom.
Thinking about getting into cryptocurrency? It's time you looked into Dash. Dash is digital money that you can use to send instant and private payments anywhere for pennies. Dash offers a decentralized network where miners are rewarded for keeping it strong and safe. Dash has made a huge impact in the crypto world. Start your journey. Check out Dash.org for more information and get in now on the future of cryptocurrency. Dash.org.
People search the internet for everything, including you. With a few clicks, information from your past can be quickly discovered, from business deals gone wrong to misleading reviews, negative articles, and unflattering images. Studies show 78% of people search for someone online before doing business with them. Will they find the real you? With ReputationDefender.com, you can establish a positive internet presence. ReputationDefender.com pioneered the field with over a decade of experience, serving thousands of successful individuals and businesses. We use patented, award-winning systems to boost positive content and suppress negative material. Don't let the internet define you. Take control of your reputation today with ReputationDefender.com. For your quick, free reputation analysis, call 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. You may bring up what you want here. Just dial toll free and join us. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And we've got Skype at Skype username LRN.FM. Oh, there she is. I saw a call ringing in, and I thought, it's got to be Sarah. She's already coming on hold. We're going to bring Sarah on in a moment here, but we actually got an update on a question that you had asked, Mike, in the last segment about we were talking about copyrights and photos and the ownership
paintings of
the ownership of one's visage or one's image, and how far one's control over one's image should go. Should it extend to an artist's interpretation of your image? And Daryl actually found a relevant case about that Obama Hope picture that everybody's seen.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Apparently, street artist Shepard Fairey, this is from back in 2011, actually, the Associated Press, source here, by the way, the New York Times, have settled their long-running legal battle over the well-known Hope campaign poster of Barack Obama. Mr. Fairey, who sued the Associated Press in 2009 as it began to accuse him of copyright infringement for using one of its photographs as the basis for the poster, said he didn't appropriate any copyrightable material and that his use of the photograph, which showed Mr. Obama looking up pensively, constituted fair use under copyright law. Last year, Fairey admitted he had misstated which AP photo he'd used for the image and that he had submitted false images and deleted others to conceal his actions, leading to a criminal investigation in addition to the civil case.
Jeez.
He originally said that he had used a photograph from a National Press Club where blah, blah, blah. Fairey said that he had initially believed the AP was wrong about that, but then realized that they were right. In settling the lawsuit, quote, the AP and Mr. Ferry have agreed that neither side surrenders its view of the law. Mr. Ferry has agreed that he will not use another AP photo in his work without obtaining a license from the AP, and the two sides have also agreed to work together going forward with the Hope image and share the rights to make the posters and merchandise bearing the Hope image and to collaborate on a series of images that Ferry will create on that will be based on AP photographs. The statement added that
That's a nice partnership and a way that people can work together.
And I'm sure AP is going to love that merchandising.
Which is strange, but nonetheless.
The statement added the two sides had agreed to, quote, financial terms that will remain confidential, unquote. In a statement released by the AP, Ferry said, quote, I respect the work of photographers as well as recognize the need to preserve opportunities for other artists to make fair use of photographic images. Contacted through his publicist, Ferry declined to say anything more. So not a real, not a lawsuit that's really going to help determine an answer to that particular question.
Right.
So basically both sides gave up in that particular case. And came to
they
an
decided
agreement.
to work together. They decided that rather than using the expensive and arduous legal system
To fight,
where the only people making the money is the lawyers, if they're
Oh, the lawyers made money on this. Don't you worry, because they needed the lawyers to get to the point of having the agreement in the first place.
True.
Let's go to Sarah. She's on the line in New Mexico. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Yes, I think I worked today. I stood on the street corner.
You think you worked. Usually when you work, you don't have to think real hard to know about it.
Well, I mean, to me, this is work, volunteer work. I talked to about 30 or 40 high school students from that intersection to, trying to bring our red light cameras back.
Now, wait a minute. So you were just like hanging out at a school bus stop and talking to students about red lights? How did you encounter 30 or 40 high school students?
Well, there's a high school right by this intersection, the most busiest intersection.
So you're stalking minors.
Well, the thing is, we had the red light camera there for 7 years. It was the very first red light camera, and it was like the death intersection of the entire state.
Paint this picture for me. So you're at an urban high school in the Albuquerque area, which is near a red light. And are the students getting out of school? Is this the afternoon, or is it bright in the early in the morning when they're going to school? What time frame?
Well, you know what? I always catch them during like lunch break, like midday, and I always catch them like around 3 when they're out of school. So I'm always
this is a regular occurrence then. You're regularly doing high school outreach. So what is it So where are you on? Are you going onto the campus, or are you just standing outside of the campus?
So I'm at the intersection. I'm at one of the corners of the intersection.
Now, do the high schoolers tend to leave campus during lunch? Are they allowed to do that?
Yeah, well, I mean, they've always done that. They would leave, they walk out and eat.
Do they come back?
Some schools have what's called open campus.
Right, where you can go to McDonald's or something for lunch. But others have barbed wire and, Constantine, fencing around the outside. So you're standing out there. Do you have a sign? What are you doing?
Well, the thing is, I used to have like a flyer. I got to make up one now with our new mayor and our city council. I have to put their phone numbers. That's what I'm going to do. But since I quit, I've been doing this for 5 years. Freezing cold, hot summer, everything, and I've already met 5 kids that got hit by cars. And I've asked him, I said, do you almost get hit by a car? And then he said, I got hit by a car. I was in the hospital for 3 days, and that's one of the kids. So
And you believe that red light cameras will reduce the incidence of people getting hit by cars?
Well, I know so. It always have proven so.
I don't know. Where has it been proven by?
Why would I be doing it?
No.
Why would I be doing this?
You could just be wrong. We certainly have seen that the red light cameras will increase car accidents at the red lights, but you're not so worried about the people driving the cars. You're more concerned about the people who aren't driving, correct?
Yeah, the pedestrians that are walking and crossing, because they pull into the right-hand turn lane when they have the red light, and they pull into the crosswalk, and that used to be all citations. In other words, if you can't stop behind the crosswalk you pull in and then that's a ticket. And I know that it's very hard for the drivers to be perfect all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But if you constantly make a mistake, you hit somebody. So you're saying
You know
that
what drove me crazy down in Sarasota when we used to live there? They had this little they had a high school that was right on US 41. So very, very busy stretch. Kind of like you guys have Route 66 or whatever there. We had US 41. Very, very busy all the time. And they actually had like maybe a 100-foot stretch of school zone right in front of the high school. And so you'd have to slow down to 20 miles an hour on this very, very busy highway just so 100 feet of protection could be offered to the high school students who should absolutely by that age know better. They should know that they have to look both ways before they cross a damn street. And I'm sorry, I don't think, maybe you could argue that elementary school students need this kind of protection. But high school students do not need school zones.
Here's some statistical data. The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety reports that red light cameras do save lives. They have saved in the 2004 to 2008 period in the 14 biggest U.S. cities with cameras, 159 lives over that 4-year period. An analysis by the Institute shows that if cameras had been operating during that period in all cities with populations of more than 200,000 people, a total of 815 fewer people would have died. But they haven't mentioned what the cost of that many cameras and then that many people managing those cameras.
But if it only saves one life, then
well, you've got to deal. What's the value of a life?
That's it's hard to calculate something like that.
Well, the insurance business does a pretty good job calculating the value of a life.
Well, one thing's for sure, a lot of these cities have gotten rid of these red light cameras because maybe even though, as you're saying, some have estimated they've saved lives, they've also caused accidents.
It does increase the incidence of rear-end collisions.
Yeah. And thank you, Sarah, for the call tonight. I appreciate it. Let's go to, we've got Discord, where Mouth-Breathing Dullard is on the line. Go ahead there.
I received an email today that said the Call to Freedom host mentioned you in Discord. So I tuned in and dropped out and heard somebody that sounded just like Mike. And Mike, I should like to say, since you didn't, when I heard this phony imam, Will Phony Muslims for Liberty, joking about a poor man who was killed today and having good fun with the train wreck story. You disgust me, Mike.
I don't know what story you're talking about.
He wasn't joking about the man at all. I'm sorry. He was not joking about the man who was injured at all. He was basically pointing out the irony that it's parallel to the way that things often go with the government, where it's the little guy who is injured or killed by the government action.
Yeah, I don't even know what story he's talking about. I wasn't there for the discussion, and I suspect many of our listeners weren't either. Thank you for the call, Mouth-Breathing Dullard. But probably best to not call about things that happen on shows where we weren't there.
Yeah,
at
listeners
least
aren't
two
listening.
of the
Well,
three.
I was there. So
two of the three hosts weren't even
he
there.
He could challenge me. I don't have any trouble with standing up for things
more coming
that
up
I've said.
tomorrow. See you there.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Did you know that Free Aid is a mutual aid, educational, and networking organization? At Free Aid, we support volunteers who provide first aid. We do outreach to the public about health and safety, and we bring together medically skilled freedom lovers. Free Aid is made possible by your generous support. Donors can receive great gifts like first aid kits, t-shirts, silver dime cards, and hoodies. The Free Aid Silver Dime Card Project is sponsored in part by Roberts & Roberts Brokerage, Freedom's Phoenix, and Don't Tread on Meme. Visit fr33aid.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, January 31st, 2018. Silver is trading at $17.22 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,342 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $46, and the average price of Bitcoin is $10,282. Antiwar.com reports President Trump has signed an executive order that is intended to reverse President Obama's intentions to close the detention center at Guantanamo Bay. Details are still emerging, but a leaked cable suggests this plan was in the offing for a while. Trump has been clear time and again that he wants to keep Guantanamo Bay open and that he'd like to fill it with new detainees. The cable told diplomats to assure worried nations that there are yet no specific plans to add to detainees. Yet, the Pentagon is expected to have to spend in the neighborhood of $500 million trying to get construction plans in place to keep the facility viable, as it was expected to have been closed long ago. Officials have yet to comment on the matter, and it's unclear when they intend to make any public statements on the future of the facility. It clearly does not make much sense to keep the site open if new detainees aren't anticipated, but admitting as much is likely to be politically risky given the site's history of abuse.
For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency official who issued a false missile alert earlier this month has been fired, and 3 others were either suspended or resigned. Officials said the employee who issued the alert was fired on Friday. Another Hawaii EMA deputy resigned after January 13th, and a 3rd employee is suspended without pay, and Hawaii EMA Administrator Vern Miyagi resigned Tuesday morning. The false alert resulted from a miscommunication between state supervisors announcing a drill and the employee who issued the alert, according to the Federal Communications Commission. The employee who sent the false alert wasn't aware it was a drill, according to statements issued on Tuesday, which gives a breakdown of what the FCC believes went wrong. The report found the employee has been counseled for confusing drills for real events at least twice before, once for a fire and once for a tsunami. The person responsible for sending the false ballistic missile alert refused to talk to the FCC, but the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency provided information last week from a written statement made by the individual shortly after the incident. Hawaii's alert origination software did not distinguish between the testing environment and the live alert production environment. The FCC statement was critical of the Hawaii EMA's handling of the correction and said sending new information on social media rather than via the same alerting system it used to send the false alert was not the best practice. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io.
Reuters reports Texas Governor Greg Abbott asked the state's top police agency on Tuesday to start an investigation into Caroli Ranch, a training facility used by USA Gymnastics where young female athletes said they were sexually molested by the team's doctor. In a letter calling for an investigation by the Texas Rangers into the facility in Huntsville, Texas, about 70 miles north of Houston, Abbott said the public statements made by athletes who previously trained at the ranch are gut-wrenching. The facility had been used for regular training camps, but USA Gymnastics said earlier this month it had canceled training sessions and was exploring alternative sites until a permanent location can be found. The complex was opened by celebrated gymnastics coaches Bella and Martha Caroli in the mid-1980s and played a vital role in making the U.S. women's team a dominant force in global competitions. Last week, disgraced longtime USA Gymnastics team doctor Larry Nassar was sentenced to up to 175 years in prison for abusing young female gymnasts who were entrusted in his care. At his sentencing hearing in Michigan, about 160 of his victims gave harrowing accounts of the abuse they suffered at the hands of Nassar, who served as the program's physician through 4 Olympic Games. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
A hot new murder craze sweeps Chicago. Things that shouldn't be said in modern society are said 1,400 times at the RNC, and a brave woman enters a restaurant without first looking it up online. This is the Onion Week in Review. The World Wildlife Fund quickly backtracked Thursday from a recently released press statement saying panda ears are, quote, absolutely delicious. Organization officials noted that while panda ears do taste amazing braised, steamed, fried, or cooked in an omelet, they should not have announced it publicly, nor should they have ever eaten any part of a cheetah, giraffe, or Bengal tiger, no matter how good they may be. According to company sources, the Netflix board of directors held a tense series of meetings earlier this morning to decide whether the fantasy comedy Michael is stream-worthy. The board reportedly sat through its mandatory 2 back-to-back screenings of the 1996 film starring John Travolta as an angel visiting Earth, all while passionately arguing over the film's story, acting, and level of enjoyment upon subsequent viewings to determine if the movie should be available through its instant viewing program.
This is the Onion News Network.
And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Today, let us make them remember. We are not afraid!
Yeah, no fear here, and declare your independence of me, Ernest Hancock, here in Phoenix, Arizona, from the BEA digital studios of Freedom's Phoenix.com. James Corbett. Oh, it's been too long. Gotta find out what's up. What's up? First question, Mr. James Corbett. Mr. James Corbett, did you watch the president's address last night?
Of course not. Why on earth would I? No.
First thing I did, Davi Barker is here. We're working, and I go, yeah, let's watch the president's address. Why? Because, well, let me check. So I send an email to Charles Goyette, and I go, you watch it? And he goes, nope, your turn. And the reason was when we were doing radio together, on the air, we'd flip a coin to see who had to watch it, you know? And I'm going, all right. So I did watch it. Nothing. There was nothing. It was all, I did, we're great, and, Democrats suck, and, whatever. So it was nothing. The only thing that he said that surprised me was some kind of, he'd like to see some kind of rehabilitation for incarcerated people when they, like they get some rehabilitation in jail, that they like come out not a criminal or something, and I go, okay, there's that. And, other than that,
Nothing new. Nothing to see here. Moving along. Well, what is how was your holidays and such?
Well, all I can think about is spending the last week in bed, completely sick. So not that great. But yeah, I mean, if we go cast our minds back to New Year, there was some good time off there. But really, just spending time with the family and renewing my commitment to be. I don't know how to say it, to step my game up this year, but also to discard what's unimportant, like the State of the Union address.
Definitely. That should be on your unimportant list. There's been so much going on, and I'm wondering, the stock market is it's starting to teeter a little bit, the economy a little bit. We have housing starting a little bit, a lot of little bits. And I'm wondering if it's building up to a big bit. What do you think is going to happen?
Well, I did write a couple of weeks ago for the Forecaster about what I thought was kind of funny, where we saw earlier this year, just a few weeks ago, we had the Bank of Japan announcing that they were going to start easing off the gas pedal a little bit on their bond purchases. As people may or may not know, the Bank of Japan has been pumping in several $1 billion worth of bond purchases every single month, outright bond purchases for the last 5 years now, and which has been a significant boon to the Japanese government, obviously, and allows them to print as much debt as they want. And that's on top, of course, of all the ETF, like exchange-traded funds they've been purchasing for the last couple of years, which has made them into a top 10 shareholder in, 90% of the Nikkei 225. I mean, the Bank of Japan is literally a top 10 shareholder in hundreds of businesses here in Japan, single-handedly keeping everything afloat. And they came out earlier this month to say, hey, look, things are looking up and everyone's optimistic and there's actual growth happening. So we're just going to start easing off the amount of bond purchases we're doing. And the reaction was kind of funny because I think CNBC put it best. They said something like, investors fear after Japan move that the global punch bowl is being taken away. Well, that's exactly it. I mean, as we all know, the last decade of record high after record high on the stock market was not due to some incredible boon to the economy that's been happening over the past decade, other than central bank intervention. That has been the name of the game for the past decade. And now that they're starting to unwind from all of that, investors are panicking once again. So I think that goes to show what the underlying reality of all this is.
One of the backups has been, there hasn't been a backup. When the dollar goes, everybody freaks. But now we have a situation to where when the dollar goes, there are options. And I'm going, okay, what options? Well, there's been other currencies and so on, but crypto is becoming a thing. It's been an option for Venezuela. It's an option for Russia. It's an option for Sweden. It's an option. So and then, of course, last night we saw Bitcoin took a dump. I don't know where it is this morning. Don't really care. But, I'm like, we've been kind of, counting on Bitcoin Cash. We're going, yep. Oh, I don't know if you saw this. NIST, National Institute for Standards and Technology, whatever the hell it is, NIST came out and said Bitcoin Cash is the original Bitcoin. They go, Bitcoin, what happened is that when it did SegWit, it's the one that forked off, and we see Bitcoin Cash as the traditional,
as the real Bitcoin.
As the real Bitcoin. And I'm going, wow, Roger paid for that one?
I saw that headline. I have no idea what's going on there. I mean, that is such a bizarre thing, especially for NIST to be taking a position on what is the real Bitcoin, but also for NIST to be coming out on the side of Bitcoin Cash is strange. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. I'd have to read the actual statement that they issued because...
Well, they have a PDF of the actual, report, which is like 50-something pages. And I kind of scanned through that, read the article. Bottom line was they go, there's Bitcoin. And then they changed it to the SegWit thing, and Bitcoin Cash didn't. So they just increased the block size, so they're the Bitcoin. This one changed, and I'm not sure they knew that was like a big deal or not. But,
so their argument is essentially it's the longest unbroken chain to the Genesis block.
Yeah, both of them kind of go back to the Genesis. It's just that when they
changed to segregated witness, it was no longer, it was a fork. They just said, no, it forked.
That's the fork. All
You know,
right.
that was the fork. And, Bitcoin Cash was, along with the traditional Satoshis, whatever. So we
It would have been
recognize
funny if
that.
they came out as Bitcoin Gold or something. That's the real Bitcoin.
I'm not sure, but it did take some sales, wind out of the sales of Bitcoin. I don't know where it is right now, but anyway, it was
Yeah,
taking a
but
dump.
here's the real point for listeners of this program is that who cares what the price in fiat dollars is? That is not the point. If that's what you're watching, then you're in this for the wrong reasons. It's all about whether there is an actual crypto economy and what that actually enables. And surely Bitcoin period, Bitcoin Core, whatever, is not going to be that crypto economy, at least not the way it's heading right now.
Yeah, no. That was one of the things that was becoming very clear to me. It got captured by they, them, those. And I'm going, okay, fine, next.
But okay, so here's the thing from my perspective as a listener of this program. What's the deal with Tone Vays? Why is he Bitcoin? Why is he falling for the PSYOP? Is he part of it?
Honestly, he's a good friend. I spend time with him. We talk about it. We go over it. It is some personal investment with. They convinced he was part of the banking system. He was convinced that you need a little bit of government, and without this, you don't have that, and and these are the smartest guys, and I'm going, wow. So it was a break in a philosophy, and it was an allegiance to something. I don't know. He got I don't know. It's a girlfriend, a date, commitment, something. I don't know what it is, but we just kind of have a friendly disagreement. I just think you're wrong. and there's other crypto stuff. I don't want to get too much on the crypto, just mention that. But, I want to talk a little bit more about Corbett's not on Facebook.
From the first letter of Captain Mark. History is full of flowery documents claiming to limit the power of the crown, but these poetic social contracts have been impotent to prevent the predation. Limited government is a lie they use to keep us submissive.